over 25 seasons of Ole Miss football.
By Duke, he may go.
Under
Dexter
center.
breaks a tackle.
Mike Wallace between two defenders.
The tradition continues.
He's to the end zone. Touchdown, Ole Miss. Breaks a tackle. He's gone down the sideline. Touchdown, Ole Miss. He is a beast.
On your home for the Rebels.
Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7 FM.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. It's time for Sports Time with Wolo and Stux. The first hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin and Brett Stotts Norsworthy.
It is a brilliant fall day. Nice to have you with us.
Day of the year, I'm going to say.
Huh?
Best day of the year.
You think so far? Some good things must have happened to you already. Certainly yesterday was a terrible day for you.
Yes,
Based on, I said brilliant, that would be for Drew. Because Drew, if we would go back in the tape, I should have had him do
really
this.
no
I got the tape.
I really didn't want to rub it in your face.
There's really no need to do this.
I
Bruce Marshall and I had a bad week.
Dude, I got it pulled up and everything. I'm ready to roll.
Bruce Marshall and I had a bad week. There's really no need to start like this.
I don't want to necessarily make this against our friend Brett. I'm not that kind. But I think we should point out your brilliance. What did you say?
I don't
Have
mind
you
pointing
got
out
that?
Drew's brilliance.
Have you got
I've
that?
got it right here.
Go ahead. Let's hear this.
I feel an upset coming. I think Broadway Sam Darnold
Wow.
pulls the upset tonight against TB12.
Do I need to flag the tape when the Patriots win 38-0?
Do so.
Okay.
Please do so.
33-0.
Couldn't have been more wrong, could I?
And he did that on his own, buddy.
Thank you.
That was not. Usually, I call him to make sure he had that one ready.
I did tell you, Brett, I can be bought. I've told you both. I can
I'm not
be
into
bought.
larceny, Drew.
Well.
I don't play like that.
You know, if you'd offered me maybe 5 points in the picks, maybe we could have worked something out.
True, we could have done
been
that.
so smug in golf. I would, I'd be sticking up for you right now.
Dave, smug in golf. I was very fair to you in golf. Dave, that hurts my
On
feelings.
the eye of the beholder.
That hurts my feelings. I mean,
And it should, because out of bounds is out of bounds, and we all know
it is, and letting him win.
I let you get a pick when you'd already missed it. I let you back in. Come on.
You're a nicer person than me, I guess.
That.
All right, next year on the golf, we're going to establish on the front. If you pick somebody not in the tournament,
Boom. Done.
too bad. Too sad. Tough toenails. We're playing. John Goin, if you're out there and listening, we're playing hard next year. No more Mr. Nice Guy will I be. 38, 40, who cares?
How about how good they were? Did you see they made a move again today? They got another interior receiver.
Oh,
the Patriots.
Yeah, they do. Seriously, last night. Can Sam Darnold come back from that?
Yes, he can.
All right, give me an example of I'm not even going to go Hall of Fame, but just a really good NFL quarterback that had that kind of game.
Brett Favre.
No, he didn't have that.
I think when he was trying to make it early on with the Falcons, he was terrible.
He never started, though. I mean,
I'll think of somebody. I know there are guys who went out there that had terrible
first
games.
or second year had that nightmare,
and have come back.
that
yeah.
public humiliation.
I can tell you right now. I don't know if it was that early, but Dan, the Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback,
Terry Bradshaw.
No, Bradshaw had some bad games.
Bradshaw
early.
had a rough rookie year.
He had a bad rookie year, but I'm
He
thinking
did.
of down the road, like 5 years in.
Roethlisberger?
Yeah, Ben Roethlisberger had a game. Remember, he had his team.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about 5
upset
years
with
in.
him?
But he had done plenty of good before that 5 years in. But this early, while you're really defining your start, I don't think he comes back from it. I really don't.
I think he can.
Back
I really
foot
do.
throws, mechanics, horrible.
How about this thing? And I've got this. I was going to do it what I could have done without, but I think it's appropriate to bring up now since we're talking about it. The ESPN Monday night thing, they're always trying to look for a way to make it more entertaining and more innovative, and I think it falls totally flat. I think it's a terrible segment, by the way, which is this mic'd up, because the only things they ever play are just inane, cheerleading, stupid, cliche stuff.
Yeah, come on, Tom Brady.
I mean, it's stupid stuff. So this time, because really they're bound by this handshake deal with the teams that we're never going to make you look bad. Well, last night they did. They played the Sam Darnold.
Seeing ghosts.
Seeing ghosts. I'm seeing ghosts out there when he's talking to his coaches. So the coaches get he did that so as he explained later, his coaches would get a sense of where he needed direction, and he obviously needed direction. Those throws into the end zone were just ridiculous.
Awful. Just lollipops.
But the point I'm trying to make is, how did ESPN think that was cool?
Well, that's the peril of the live mic.
Well, if I were Sam Darnold, I'll say, you're never using me again.
I agree with that, and I told you a few weeks ago.
And by the way, the Jets probably would say you're never micing a player again.
I told you a few weeks ago when the cameras caught Rich Rodriguez in a not flattering reaction in the press box, and they had asked clearly the producer, please don't embarrass us. And then after
that is now 2 times in 3 weeks, one college, one pro, where the network has literally embarrassed either a coach or a player.
And I know a text was sent, thought you weren't going to embarrass us. Oh, didn't think it was that bad. Well, it was.
Honestly, you would think if there's no audio, it would be hard to be embarrassed, but it was. It was.
Yeah.
And the thing is, that's not live. So they're making a judgment call of what they think is embarrassing and what the person who is the subject thinks is embarrassing.
See, I think y'all embarrassed me with running that tape earlier.
Well, we apologize for that. Maybe
I think I accept
maybe we should never.
I'm sorry.
Maybe we should never flag tape again.
No. I play it. It's part of it. It's sharp elbow business. But it is why, on a serious note, at a bigger level, it is why we're going to be limited more and more in every outlet, because they just don't want anything unflattering. Yeah. And I guarantee you, somebody Jets PR today called somebody and said, why you got to hang us out like that?
They basically said it to the world. They felt they were wrongly done by ESPN. And I think you are with a young psyche like Sam Darnold. You mentioned first year. He's really trying. Yeah, but really playing.
He's been bad. And now the question in New York.
You were yesterday, 24 hours ago, you were making him the next Joe.
I was joking about Broadway Sam. I do think he had that big arm he showed at USC. Those throws he made in that Rose Bowl game were otherworldly.
I don't know.
But that's college.
I don't know what was last night. That was crazy.
If that's him, and Daniel Jones is the Daniel Jones from Sunday, and that's him, they're both going to be drafting quarterbacks again soon in New York.
It's hard to be an NFL quarterback. Just ask those two. Ask Mitchell Trubisky. I mean, he I have a son who's a Bear fanatic, much like, I don't know where he got it from, really.
I don't either. Where did he get that from?
But he basically said,
well, you quit on the Bears
we may have to go for Lawrence. I said, well, you're going to have to wait 2 years for Lawrence.
Not a bad plan. He's scuffling a little bit.
He is.
It's tough out there at that position, number one. You get all the credit, you get all the best-looking girlfriends, and you get all the criticism, especially if you agree to be mic'd up. Mitch Trubisky was pretty good Sunday. He went for 250 Sunday.
Well, that's because they never ran the ball. I don't understand.
He did throw it around.
I really, honestly, I blame, and I said this yesterday, I blame the head coach, Matt Nagy, a lot more than I blame Mitch Trubisky.
You trashed him thoroughly yesterday, Dave. You impeached him.
Well, I think he's been a lot of hype. He came, we're getting Andy Reid's offense. He's really the brains behind Andy Reid's offense. Really? Sure haven't seen that in Chicago.
There are a lot of questions at a lot of places in the NFL at quarterback.
There are.
Now with
it's always been the toughest position.
It is.
I can remember, honestly,
it's brutal.
Peter and I last year, and I think it's better this year, Peter and I last year going through first-string quarterbacks and then second-string quarterbacks.
Oh, it's dreadful.
There's no great second-string quarterbacks. And there's only maybe 2/3 of the league has really bona fide first-string quarterbacks.
Y'all conspired on that audio, didn't you?
No, that was all Drew.
Oh, my friend Drew.
I'm sorry. I got something close to right, and I don't get a lot of things right. So I needed to brag on myself a bit.
Oh, my friend Drew, huh?
I swear to you. Now, that is something, seriously, I would have normally dreamed up, but I didn't this time.
A good buddy, Drew.
I told you, I can be bought.
Man.
I didn't buy you either.
Well, he didn't buy me to not do it.
Oh, I see.
I don't deal like that.
I see. And he's taking you to lunch tomorrow?
I am,
man,
and you're still invited.
That was a bad look. I can't do it. I'm meeting with Penny Hardaway.
Well,
Like I said, bring him along.
I get that excuse all the time, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
Invite somebody to lunch. Brett, I'd love to, but I'm going to lunch with Coach Hardaway. I get that all the time.
It's a glorious day today.
It is.
We got a World Series. How come it doesn't feel like a World Series?
It does to me.
Does it?
It very much to me.
Do you think we're getting the same sort of attention we used to get for a World Series?
Well, Dave, it's hard in the old 3-network day to get something like that, and it's getting a little later. I mean, this is October 22nd. We were wrapped up by now. In fact, the Cardinals game 6, the umpire call, the Dinkinger call, I think that was on October 20th or 21st of 85. That's a long time ago, though. But we're getting a little bit later and later.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to it. It shouldn't be that weather impacted. Astros, none with the roof. Washington.
We're going to do an assessment of this at in about really 40 minutes. But I am excited because I think on paper this is one of the great World Series that
I think
we
got
could
a
have
classic
in a long time.
I love it. There's nothing in sports out there for me. And knock on wood, thank the Almighty, 9 times I've been to 9 World Series games over 4 World Series. Nothing like the introduction of players out to the lines, sitting there, even for me watching on television at home. Got to go to 1 game in 2004, 2 games in 2006, all 4 in St. Louis in 2011, and 2 in 2013. Gosh, I haven't been to a World Series in person in 6 years, bro. 6 years.
I feel bad for you.
Hadn't seen my team win it in 8.
Too bad.
It'll be 7
Really
and
tough.
9 this time next year.
Really tough.
They've never played my team's never played in a World Series in my entire life. That's 25 years.
I just saw mine a little while ago, a couple of years ago.
You didn't go to a game. I still can't believe it.
I've told you why. That was
Both
literally the green flag.
It was the greenest of green flags.
Because I really did. I did homework.
Yeah, I know you did.
I tried.
You were canvassing
I
far away.
couldn't because I had to take both sons and a stepdad. And
Right.
it would have been the greatest family gathering ever.
I don't want to get into your cash, but I'm going to say, were you going to go to just 1 or 2 games in Chicago?
I would have just gone to 1. I couldn't afford 2, and I couldn't afford 1.
I'm going to say 1, just ducats, just to get cleared through the gate. 1,500 per, so 6,000 total.
It was more than that. It was more like 2,500 each. This was going to be a $10,000
I'm waving
one game deal.
I'm waving green flag for
That's
you.
one game.
Yeah.
So we all got together at the house. Not
Yeah.
stepdad, but that was still it was incredible.
Yeah, but
anyway,
you
so
know, it is very expensive.
oh yeah. We got a busy show. So I told you at 3:50 we're going to make our World Series pick and a little analysis, and we'll tell you why I think both of us are excited, and I think you all should be. Then Gabe Kuhn right before that at 3:30. 4 o'clock is always Brent Baird on college football. 4:30, Jeff Moore on the National Football League. Then the final segment on the National Football League for this portion of the week. That would be with Beau Marchant collegetopro.com. 5:30, Steve Earhart from the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. Remind me, I sat next to him and at the table with Matt Luke last night, and Matt was really, really good at the Touchdown Club.
A really good person.
And when I had John David Bedour on, or we had him,
Friday.
You were with me Friday. He said the steak at the butcher shop was going to be fantastic, and he was on the money. And there was a question that was brought up to the coach by Brian Stewart, who is the Briarcrest head football coach. I want to get into that in a little bit. Crunch time at 5:50. So this is a very busy show.
It is. This hour brought to you daily by Lexus of Memphis, 2600 Ridgeway, and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Give them a call at 901-362-8833. Lexus of Memphis offering the Golden Opportunity Fall Sales Event on this sun-splashed, beautiful day. Great offers on all 2020 models, always offers on special lease options. If you've ever thought I'd look great in a Lexus, well, guess what? Lexus of Memphis thinks you would look outstanding in one of their cars as well. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of an all-new 2020 flagship LS500, and you will be looking and driving great. Lexus of Memphis, the high standards in the industry. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design that makes for the luxury driving experience. 362-8833. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
This is a great one, guys. James Wiseman has just been named by the Associated Press to the preseason All-American team.
First team?
First team. He joins Michigan State's
Corso.
Cassius Winston. He joins Marquette's Marcus Howard. He joins Louisville's Jordan Nwora. He joins Seton Hall's Miles Powell. The guy just missing, the sixth man on this team, would have been Florida's Kelly Blackshear.
SEC
Kerry
preseason Player of the Year.
Yeah. And then Cincinnati's Jaron Cumberland, the Americans' preseason Player of the Year.
We know he can go.
He got 8 votes. He gets 8 votes. Wiseman's on the first team. This is a little like how Memphis is 14th in the AP poll. Cincinnati's not in the top 25, and yet they were, or Houston not in the top 25, and yet
they're going to use that for a lot of motivation.
Yeah, they sure will.
They will. My top story: World Series starts in about 4 hours, a little less than 4 hours, and this will not be one of the bullpen World Series. This will be starting pitching. It's not going to be that 3 innings this guy and 2 innings this guy and this guy for 2 batters. This is an old-fashioned starting pitching World Series. Houston's Garrett Cole, he last lost a game on May 22nd to the White Sox. He's against Max Scherzer tonight, who last lost starting a game September 18th to St. Louis. Fall Classic should be classic.
You realize the Nats have won 16 of their last 18 games, and this Cole streak is absolutely incredible. He is 19-0 in his last 25 starts going back to that May 22nd.
Making it look easy. I saw him make it look easy on a Saturday night in St. Louis. He didn't break a sweat. They staked him to a 2-0 lead, and it was almost like he was laughing going out to the mound in the bottom of the first. I got this.
And since you and I have had this discussion about Strasburg and postseason and everything else, what has he done? Do you know that he's played in 41 postseason games now? And do you know what his ERA?
They're vindicated.
Do you know what his ERA is?
Sub 250.
A lot less than that.
Sub 1?
Close, 1.10.
1.10. And Bob Gibson
in 41 games.
And Bob Gibson was 112 for a season.
I know. When that happened, he and believe it or not, the White Sox, Juan Pizarro, had a great year that year.
He did.
That's what made him lower the mound.
And McLean won 31.
Yeah, they lowered the mound because of that. That is great stuff.
Not top story of the day.
This is bad news for the Golden State Warriors. Let me ask you: when we pick tomorrow, and we're picking all our NBA picks, and we're going to give
divisions, 8 teams in each side.
We're going to go each order of each division, or do we going to give amounts of games one, or just for the Grizzlies?
Just ordering, okay. Just Grizzlies.
Because I think really, I don't know what Golden State can win now, because basically Steve Kerr said today that Klay Thompson is unlikely to play this whole year as he recovers from his torn ACL. They didn't do surgery until July 1st. And even though he's still young, he's 29 years old, April 1st would be 9 months. It takes a full year. They would be, depending on where they are, they could really, because we are getting quicker and quicker healing because of more and more modern technology and surgical techniques. But, I mean, I wouldn't take a chance unless they're in first place and have a chance to win the title.
The NBA Finals were very impactful, not the least of which Toronto winning a title, but the end of KD there, the end of the Warriors in Oakland.
Yeah.
Klay Thompson.
Well, the end of Kawhi Leonard there.
Shell for a while. The end of Kawhi Leonard in Toronto.
Yeah.
Mark's probably his only ring. It was very impactful finals that sets up the story for this year. I don't know if it's wide open, but it's pretty open.
Oh, I think it's real open. You know, I guess everybody thinks the Clippers are the main pick, and we'll let everybody know tomorrow. But I wouldn't go hard on that.
My not top story, NBA protests tonight and around the league during this week's first games, and they will come and they will go. I wonder if there will be any Friday night in Memphis over free Hong Kong, over the China situation, over the China issue in the league. But it will mostly be over after this week because the NBA is going to ride it out. Their main TV partner, ESPN's not going to say a word about it. Boy, they are really sticking to sports now, aren't they?
Do you think really this just goes away in 2 weeks?
Goes away. We won't remember it in a while because their main TV partner, ESPN, and a very compliant NBA media will largely cover for them, and it'll all blow over.
I don't think it's done in 2 weeks. I can see about a month and a half, maybe it goes away as the races become more interesting and stars start to make history. Then that story drops. But it's not going to go away in 2 weeks because you're just ending home openers in 2 weeks. And I got a feeling you're going to see a lot of protest signs everywhere in NBA arenas over the next 2 weeks.
It'll be like it didn't happen.
We'll see.
Do the signs even make it into the arena? I mean, are we going to start screening for signs
going
into the door?
Tell me sign policy. Now, you know, at FedEx Forum, if there is a policy of no signs, that means, you know, Tony Allen rules.
Us against everybody can't be in there.
Okay, that's cool. But now if you can have Tony Allen rocks, you can have free Hong Kong, can't you?
You should, but I mean, if the NBA brings down a note saying no free Hong Kong signs, then
all right, then why does the
it
guy
should be no signs
why
in
does the
general.
guy next to him, it says John Morant's great, why does he get to bring his sign in and I can't bring in my sign?
Well, here's the other
your
question.
sign affects my bottom line.
The other question is who makes that decision? Does the city of Memphis that owns the arena, do they make that decision? Or do the Grizzlies, who have the right to run the arena, do they make that decision? I don't know the answer.
Only Jason Wexler knows.
And I guess we'll have to read Grind City to see that. Because I don't see him telling other media outlets anything.
I don't either.
That's a question worth asking.
It is.
Who makes that kind of policy? Do the
Now,
Grizzlies make that policy?
You're right, technically, that the city owns it, but they've also ceded over management to Memphis Grizzlies DBA.
City owns it. Mm. The right to run it is
wholly
is
and
the Grizzlies.
completely the Grizzlies.
Right.
And
that kind of
and
policy,
that was clear.
I don't know.
I don't either. And that was clear from day one, first conversation with the pursuit team with Mike Heisley.
No.
It's we'll come, and if y'all show up, then we'll build it. It was, you build it, we'll come.
That's exactly. You build. Wait.
We run it.
You build it, we run it, and we come.
And
that's how that
jocks
works.
and barrel, we run it.
And Michael Heisley.
Concerts.
In my estimation,
he was great.
He was a great owner.
He was great.
And he came and cared about the city of Memphis. Absolutely.
And now we really don't have an owner.
And the way they set up all the charities and everything else, that was all Michael Heisley's philanthropic philosophy. And Stan Meadows was the execution guy.
He was.
I mean, in the bad way. He executed the play.
Sometimes in the bad way.
Yeah. He could be the bad cop. There is no question.
Didn't want that call to go see Stan Meadows.
We got to take a break. We are just underway. It's going to be a fun day. We mentioned how many folks coming up, including Gabe Kuhn next on the Tigers. This portion of the show brought to you by Family Leisure. I ran into one of the ladies that works in sort of the service and technology department for Family Leisure, and she was just asking me about something I'd gotten there. I mean, details, They care about them. I love it when where you go to do business, they remember you and they care about how their product is.
Know your customer.
And they do. And that's the beauty of Family Leisure. They've always got sales like the one they've got going on right now, sort of a dual sale, the Factory Direct pool table sale. That's been going on for a couple of weeks now. And the end, sort of a bit of an extended spa sale, you could say. The Direct Factory pool table sale's cool because there's free installation on all the in-stock pool tables. Then we're talking about a free playing package they have, a free choice of felt, and the tables start as low as $1,299, and they're gorgeous. Now, the continuation of the spa sale, that's, again, all in-stock spas, and there's plenty still in stock and ready to ship. You can save 20 to 30, maybe even 40% off on all the spa accessories. And the swim spas, they're still really great priced at $9,999. Please head on over to I-40 and Wooden Road. See my guys, my friends at Family Leisure. We are back in a minute. This is Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy get you through the midday with Sports 56 Middays. Delivered by FedEx. Weekdays from 10 till 1 on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Fall is fast approaching, and you know what that means. Time to start thinking about covering your pool. The best way to protect your pool, your loved ones, and your pocketbook is with a safety pool cover. Mario's Pools on Exeter and Germantown has the best advertised price on all pool safety covers, solid and mesh. Keep your pool looking great year after year. A safety cover requires less maintenance, saves money on chemicals and water, prevents standing water, and extends the life of your liner. Call Mario's Pools at 552-3399. That's 552-3399. Or just walk in and see him in Germantown on Exeter Road. Plus, he specializes in pool closings. Mario's has an A rating with the Better Business Bureau. Check out his reviews on Facebook. Protect your investment. Call Mario's Pools today. 552-3399.
Pop the top on your next party. 34 North Cocktails. Available in Memphis now. Great for football grove parties, around the hunting campfire, and when you get home, entertain friends. Pop a premium can of Barrel Thief. Tastes just like an old-fashioned Barrel Thief made with aged bourbon, bitters, a hint of orange, a touch of vanilla, 15% ABV. Then, for you vodka lovers, try Sneaky Pucker, a refreshing lemonade premium vodka cocktail, 12.5% ABV. Made with super premium vodka, lavender, simple syrup, and lemonade. Delicious and smooth. Let the party begin with 34 North Cocktails.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. Now, back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Wolochin and Brett Norsworthy.
Somebody must have kicked you around some.
Welcome back in. Tigers did some kicking around last week. Kicked around Tulane, a little revenge for two things. Revenge for the heartbreak in Philly and the revenge for their stinker game from the year before in New Orleans where Tulane took it to them, and they really did go 180. Yeah, we're going to talk about that with our friend Gabe Kuhn, former Tiger. Talking Tigers brought to you by ATC Fitness, Tactical Investments, Wolf Chase Nissan, Wolf Chase Honda, Stereo One, and Pop's Comfort Kitchen. Do you believe, Gabe Kuhn, in this theory that I have, that every year there's going to be one game, it could have been this past Saturday, where a team plays out of its mind, everything goes right, and you just kill somebody, and then yet there's going to be one game where you stink, where everything seems to go wrong, and you hope that you can survive it with a W, and that could have been the Temple game, but they didn't survive it, and they didn't survive the stinker the year before in New Orleans. You buy that theory as a guy who's been on teams that play
definitely
every year?
the stinker. But I think what they did to Tulane, I went into this game, and I sort of thought, I told you guys last week that I thought that Tigers would win small, 3 or 4 points is what I said.
Right, and I agreed with you.
But I thought that they were a better matchup for that Tulane team than they were for that Temple team, just because I thought Tulane's defense wasn't big enough. I thought that O-line would do what they wanted with them. But Brady White came to play. Brady White had his best game as a Tiger, and he's gotten a lot of flack, obviously, and we've had discussions. We've had disagreements.
He's coming around. This is the same guy, by the way. Wasn't sure about Kenny Gainwell. Just so you know.
Oh, my gosh. Wasn't sure, because I hadn't seen him play to that extent. And what he did, by the way, what I loved about that game is them motioning him out of the backfield, getting him on the edge one-on-one, and throwing back shoulder balls to the guy. What can't he do?
There's nothing
Not
he
much.
can't do.
I mean,
Not
it was
much.
if they can replicate that and get him in the passing game. I think there was a corner route he caught in between a corner and a safety rolling over. He's insane.
Now he was the reception guy on the shovel pass to seal the Ole Miss game, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
This one, Joey Magnifico.
Yes, they ran a very similar.
I thought
to Joey.
exactly. Do you realize? I have the numbers, but I didn't quite look them up. But last week he had 160 some yards all purpose, and he had 300 yards this week. So I'm going to let's just say he's probably averaging about 180 yards all purpose. And think about this. I believe that's second in the country.
Yep.
But if you just count from line of scrimmage, he's by far number one, because the number one guy usually is going to count return yards.
Have they direct snap Wildcat to him yet?
Yes.
Yeah.
They did last week.
Yeah. They love doing
Well, that's
that.
a tough guy to game plan for if you're the opposing
No,
defensive
I mean,
team.
what are you going to do?
Yeah.
I mean, you can put him out in the slot. You can put him out on the edge, and he can do whatever he wants when he wants.
What do you do as a defense? Have a spy on him? One guy?
You have
boxing one?
to. And the craziest thing is, like, even when he's out in the pass game, you're going to have to double team him. You're going to have to find a way to keep the ball out of his hand.
Devontae Coxey and Magnifico Joey's going to love that.
Somebody's
Because
gotta
they're
be
putting
open.
two on him.
Antonio Gibson as well.
Simple numbers, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know as an opposing team how you're going to game plan for him going forward.
And think of this. We may see more of this, and I don't know. But if you put Kenneth Gainwell at the Wildcat, you do know the guy was a high school quarterback.
Yeah,
Oh, I did.
I've seen it.
Yes.
He played quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
I have watched his high school film, and it was pretty incredible. I mean, he did all the read options, and he kept it most of the time, because I would imagine his coach said, "Hey, keep the ball."
You can throw every once in a while, but
You won't know this name. So in the day, he would have been Jamel Holloway. He would have been a wishbone quarterback.
yeah, absolutely.
That's exactly what he was.
Yeah,
I mean, he
He would have been Lloyd Patterson, y'all's guest Sunday night.
Lucky Lloyd.
And Lloyd Patterson, if he played right now, ooh, wow.
Yeah. This team is way more far along than I thought that they would be, especially with losing Patrick Taylor at the time. I thought that would be a big blow. Obviously, Sanchez Blake's going to be a big blow to that defense, but I think
that's a big blow.
But at the same time, that defense has been sort of with that next man up mentality. It haven't skipped beat. They've had way more depth this season. I think it'll be a big blow.
How about this?
Leading tackler.
He's your leading tackler, but you will see more of two guys that I think have been outstanding. Zay Collins and Quindell Johnson.
Yeah.
Those two guys, and then I'm going to throw this third guy in because, we've never had depth at cornerback. Memphis hasn't. Think of this. The last 2 weeks, they got Chris Claybrooks back and the kid to transfer from Auburn.
John Broussard,
who played his first 30 or 40 snaps last week. I mean, you're talking about depth that is unheard of for this school.
Y'all want to guess where Brady White ranks nationally in quarterbacks in yardage? Yards passing nationally.
Is this
1 through
for this
everybody's
year? You're talking about just this year.
For this year.
Top 25.
That's correct.
Well, I'm trying to remember what he had 18. What do you have going into last week? 18? Is he over 2,000? No,
he's around 19.
No, he's not. Yeah, I don't think he's 2,000 yet.
I don't think he's 2,000.
He's 17th.
He's 17th.
And the efficiency is probably top.
The efficiency is
easily
higher.
top 10. Yeah.
I mean, he's throwing 72%.
I think about 75, isn't it?
Well, he was 70% last week, so
yeah.
I don't think he would have
but that's sort of his thing is efficiency.
Yeah.
He makes sure if he's going to make a throw, it's going to be the right decision.
People say that all. Yeah, right. And people say, because he dinks it. Do you know what his average yardage per reception is now?
Around 11? Something like that?
Nope.
Can't be any higher than that.
16.8.
Really?
16.8.
Interesting.
That's going down the field with it.
Yeah, and let's give his receivers credit as well.
Oh,
they're good after
absolutely.
the catch. They're incredible after the catch.
All right, what scares you the rest of the way on the schedule? Who scares you the most the rest of the way?
I mean, I have to say SMU. I mean, it's all the rest of them.
Well, Tulsa scares me because
defensively
they could be a lot better. They hung with Oklahoma State. They hung at Cincinnati last week. They should have beaten SMU. They have a kicker who missed 3 field goals and an extra point in that game.
I wonder if
they beat San Jose State, that beat Arkansas.
Here's where I'm at, though. I wonder if that offense can do anything against this Memphis defense. I just don't think this.
Listen to that.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it is crazy.
I just don't see. Seth Brooks is their quarterback, I believe. I can't see them doing much offensively against them. I mean, they've been stout against the run. I don't think Tulsa has much of a pass game.
At Houston and at South Florida looks different now than it did preseason.
Yeah, I think Houston is sort of regressing, though. Because when you looked at them last week against UConn, they only beat them by 7.
Houston's tanking.
Embarrassing.
They don't even care if they win. They were redshirting all these guys that would have been seniors this year. They played 4 games, and he asked them all to sit down, including De'Ara King. I mean, what Holgerson is doing is a mockery of the college game.
Yeah, I think it's disgusting. But I mean, SMU is the biggest game I would say on the schedule left. I think.
Well, and if they win that game, then Cincinnati becomes the next biggest game.
Yeah,
because that could end up being seriously. You could play them twice, but
I think.
But you have to keep winning in order to go to the Cotton Bowl, which Jerry Palm has Memphis in as of yesterday.
You look at Cincinnati and SMU. I don't think Cincinnati's as good offensively, obviously, and I think that's what you're going to have to do to beat this Memphis team because they're going to score points. Kenny Gainwell, you cannot hold him down. He's going to get his touches. He's going to get his TDs. I think out on the edge with Coxie, I think all these guys are going to get what they want. So I think down the stretch, if you're going to beat this Memphis team, you're going to have to do it offensively.
Bouchel versus Brady White will be a match.
It'll be interesting. Mm-hmm. It'll be interesting. They're they're contrasting styles, in my opinion.
Bouchel was brilliant.
Completion percentage.
Temple.
I mean, he's a downfield.
He had 457 yards and 5 touchdowns?
But he is a downfield take-it-all type of passer. He went 30 for 55, I must sort of throw in there. That's
high volume.
That's high volume.
SMU plays on Thursday at Houston. That was going to be a big matchup preseason for Houston.
Yep. Yeah. But now it's just I feel bad for all those seniors in that program.
Where is that game? At Houston?
At Houston, yeah.
They'll still wipe them up.
I feel so bad for that.
All right, let me ask you, what do you do if you're Mike Norvell and Patrick Taylor comes back this week?
You're going to have to give him his touches. Right, I think.
But you're not going to give him the 28 touches that he got against Ole Miss.
But the thing is, when you have a guy like Kenny Gainwell, he's movable. So you're going to give him his rushes. You have to, with what he has done with them. But at the same time, you just have so much you can do with Kenny Gainwell that you're going to give Patrick his touches as well. And I think the change of pace between those two guys, with Patrick being a bruiser and Kenny sort of being the all-around back, I think it's going to be really hard to defend. And people are talking about, well, where are you going to find the carries for him? You're going to find them. Kenny's going to need some breaks.
It'll work out.
Instead of having Kylan Watkins in there, you're going to put in Patrick Taylor, and it'll make it that much better.
And Rodriguez Clark is just going to have to wait till next year.
Yeah.
And that's
a
sad,
good problem
but
to have.
True.
Gainwell had to wait last year.
Yep.
Yeah, well, they redshirted him, and
honestly,
if Patrick Taylor had been healthy, they probably would have redshirted Rodriguez Clark, but It is what it is. All right, you mentioned this team much better than even you thought they were going to be at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Grade for me, one of the keys, and that's the offensive line.
Grade.
The two of us had big questions about preseason.
Last
Dave, not as much.
Against Tulane, I'm gonna have to go a straight A. But I mean, for the whole season, they've had their struggles. I'm gonna go B- to this point in the season. I think
that's fair.
I think they struggled at times against Navy. I think they struggled at times against a lot of the game against Ole Miss. I don't think Brady got to set his feet that much. And there's been games like that, but we knew there was going to be growing pains. And I think what they did against Tulane sort of shows me and shows the rest of the fan base that they're ready to sort of be an anchor for that offense. And I like where they're at.
Spoken like a true offensive line.
Of course, I'm an offensive line homer. What do you
here's
think?
the good news is that other than Woodard, well, Scott Dill too, but they're all back.
Yeah. Wait, who?
I mean, you're
there's no
talking about
seniors?
Woodard and Scotty Dill.
Okay.
But a lot of reps, a lot of depth in that offensive line for 2020.
But guys like Isaac and Fields, they're playing a whole bunch. And
Isaac Ellis has been that swing guy.
Easy is a sophomore.
Yeah.
Dylan Parham is a sophomore.
Yeah.
Lopez is
Arono Lopez. He'll be a senior.
He'll be a senior. He's a junior now.
I can't stand people that do this,
Dustin
especially
is
while
an
this
anchor,
season's going on. But next year, do y'all realize if this season ended like it could for the Tigers, and we know that oomph that gives you for the next season in the magazines and in the rankings world, the Tigers could go into 2020 preseason ranked in the top 20.
Yeah,
sure.
They have a pretty young defense.
Where?
Too.
This is obnoxious.
I'm
of me,
looking,
but I'm going to
ask
ask
next year
you,
start?
Where is next year's New Year's Day Six Bowl?
Well, it's I want to say the Fiesta.
Okay.
I don't know. Cotton Bowl this year.
Cotton Bowl this year.
What's the two semifinal games this year? Fiesta and Sugar. They go to
Orange was last year, so they're out of it. And then
next year the season starts against Arkansas State, week 2 at Purdue.
Yeah, the Arkansas State game, I take it, is home.
It is
at Purdue is not an easy one.
No, because first of all, Jeff Brom is a good coach,
one of the highest paid coaches.
Unfortunately, his team is all busted up, but he's still making $6.6 million.
Isn't that something?
Yeah, he's a top 10 paid coach.
Did you see what Chad Morris made?
No.
He makes $4 million a year. He's 28th in the country in pay.
Do you know that the average?
I never understood that one.
Did you
Who
see,
negotiated that?
I don't.
Every SEC coach. Do you know? So the lowest paid SEC coach is making $3 million a year. Do you know what the average SEC coach makes?
4.5.
4.95. We're talking $5 million.
They talk about these coaching search committees.
Who negotiated that at Arkansas?
What was the thought process?
$12 million pay. They fire him today. They got to write him a check for $12 million.
I mean, I'm not going crazy on Arkansas, but you get rid of Brett Bielema, who is a straight up pro style big guy, run the ball, pound it in there.
But
you
he
get
was
Chad
horrible.
Morris, who has not. I mean, those recruits
done
don't match
nothing.
any. those recruits don't match anything he's done.
But let me play devil's advocate, because I hear that all the time. If you're in the SEC West and you think you're going to out-physical Alabama, LSU every time.
And A&M to a degree.
Okay, A&M. Okay, so you can't win that way. So now you go 180. You go, okay, we can't win with that.
Let's trickle.
Let's be a finesse team. Let's go. Hey, this guy Chad Morris throws the ball all over the place. But he knows Texas. Oh, we need to get into Texas. So that's why they went that way. In theory, it works. It hasn't worked yet because of what you said, which would be if I'm the agent.
That's the question. Is
Chad Morris? I'd be going, hey man, you brought us in to make a radical change. We got to change, but we got to change personnel. We need more than 2 years.
That's what I'm saying.
Years after this year with him?
Yeah, but what's the turnaround is what I'm saying. How many years do you give a guy that doesn't really have a chance when he comes in?
They rolled him over after last year, so he got a fresh 5. So right now they're on the hook for 4. Do you roll him over this year? Or do you add it?
No, I don't know if I roll him over, but I don't fire him because you were trying. As you just said, right? He doesn't have the personnel.
Completely.
You are. but you need to because you can't out-physical those teams. So you have to do it. It's like somebody was just saying to me, they were talking about a team, and the best way for them to go would be to do something no one ever sees. They're going, start playing option football, hire away somebody from an academy.
I've been one of the guys that thinks that when you look at what Jeff Monken's done at Army, why can't he go to an Illinois in the Big Ten and try and replicate what he's done? I don't see why not.
When you can't get – I'll tell you, it was in reference to what Vandy should do.
Yeah.
Vandy can't –
You recruit with them. They can't
recruit SEC caliber players, so go with a bunch of athletes and run this particular offense that nobody sees. That's exactly what Georgia Tech was doing for a while. It was hanging in.
It worked.
I did say Illinois, although they just came off a nice little win.
Great win. Maybe the upset of the year.
I don't know how that happened.
That's the biggest upset of the year by far. Right?
That is, and it is very, very evident to me that even a blind squirrel finds a nut on occasion.
They played tight the past couple of weeks before that Wisconsin game.
That was a shot at me, not at Lovey, because I picked it last week as my upset pick.
Really? It was a shot at Lovey.
Trust
me. It was a shot at Lovey.
I'm a little thin-skinned, sorry. I'm a little sensitive today.
Well, yeah, we got off topic, but this is Talking Tigers, I promise you. Brought to you by ATC Fitness, Tactical Investments, Wolf Chase Nissan, Wolf Chase Honda, Stereo One, and Pop's Comfort Kitchen.
All right, my man.
Good time, as always.
Very good. It'll be fun in Tulsa, I hope.
Yeah.
Living on
what
Tulsa.
happens there?
Huh?
What happens there?
I think Tigers win pretty handily. I think the first half might be a little adventure. I think Tulsa will come out pretty they seem to come out pretty tough against ranked opponents.
Tigers are, I believe,
somewhat
10-point favorites in this one, so we shall see. We shall see. Thank you much, as always. We appreciate it. We take a break. When we come back, World Series picks, World Series analysis, World Series facts and figures. Can't wait. This is Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
Search Sports 56 on Facebook and give us a like. And follow us on Twitter at Sports 56 WHBQ.
Hi, this is John Conway with Conway Services. Did you notice your water heater not heating as well last winter? During the cold winter months, the groundwater is colder and requires more energy to heat the water, and sometimes old, inefficient tanked water heaters just can't keep up. It may be time for a tankless water heater from Conway Services that never runs out of hot water. Conway Services is making now the perfect time for a new tankless water heater with 24 months to pay, interest-free. Or I'll pay you $250 for that old tanked water heater. Plus, these energy-saving models only heat the water you use, saving you money on your gas bill every month. And no more worrying about that tank bursting in your attic either. So call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier tankless water heater professionals at 384-3511. That's 384-3511. And the first 30 callers with a 10-year-old water heater will come out and inspect it absolutely free.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
Mid-South Power Distributors is your source for all things diesel. For more than 26 years, they've supplied all the diesel parts that you need. From simple repairs to complete overhauls, they have it all. Whether it's heavy, medium, light duty, agricultural, marine, or off-road, Mid-South Power is the leading source for all things diesel. Fuel injection, turbochargers, engine parts, alternators, starters, and brakes, they can supply all the parts and services you need. Stop in today at 3250 Mill Branch Road in Memphis or call 901-396-0710.
I love fall. The landscape is so beautiful at Town Village Audubon Park. Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. Looking for a great place to retire, but you still have a very active lifestyle? Then visit Town Village. Only requirements that you're 55 plus. Prices per month starting at $2,300. Gourmet Chef Drew invites you to visit our restaurant and bistro. Package includes 3 complimentary meals per day, maid service, free local transportation, daily check-in, monthly coffee club, themed dinner parties, lots of fun. Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home. Town Village Audubon Park.
Spencer here with ATC Fitness. We have exciting news. All premium members of ATC Fitness now have access to our newly added hydro massage lounges. That's right, for only $25 a month, you'll have access to all 18 state-of-the-art facilities, access to tanning, and now access to the best massage unit on the market. Come in today and relax with a free demo. You deserve it. Don't forget, you can also sign up online. ATCFitness.com. ATC Fitness, exercise your right to look good.
Now, back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Wolochen and Brett Norsworthy.
I got back in. I heard a guy today. He was bragging on going to Soulfish Wolf Chase. He goes, packed. I don't blame him for that.
You weren't surprised
It's,
either.
it's everywhere. All four of their locations, and I'm not even counting Little Rock or Oxford. I mean, what they have done at Soulfish is they've gotten an empire. It's clearly the best catfish in all of Memphis, and the consistency is off the charts. But there's more. You get that trout dish that my wife gets all the time. I mean, she just can't help herself. She goes, and I'm going to try something different today. I might try your, I get the shrimp tacos because I just, they're from scratch guacamole. They're from scratch salsa. It's terrific. So I love doing that. My goodness, she can't help herself. She got to get the jumbo trout. I mean, there's a great wine list and a great beer list and homebrew there. Everything in all four locations. You want a great place. Well, the Commercial Appeal said #1 restaurant for catfish, for seafood, and soul food. Nobody's ever done that before, and we got 4 of them now. We got Soulfish, the original Cooper Young. We got Soulfish in Germantown. It's on the Collierville border. The shops of Forest Hill, Irene. We've got My Neighborhood. That's Soulfish on Poplar, just east of Perkins in the old Wolf Camera location. East Memphis loves that place. And now the new one in Wolf Chase on Highway 64. Go check it out. You will thank me later.
The World Series starts tonight. Washington Nationals at the Astros for games 1, 2, and 6 and 7, if necessary. The middle games 3, 4, and 5. In our nation's capital, the Nationals tonight with Max Scherzer on the mound against Garrett Cole. I am for the Nats. Against my better judgment, I am going to pick the Nats.
Wow.
To win the World Series 4-2.
Wow. All right. I will tell you in the front end, I am for the Nats because of the guest we will have tomorrow at 3:30, Bob Carpenter, their voice, who will, of course, be in Houston for all the World Series games. Bob and his analyst, his partner on TV, will be doing pregame and postgame shows from the World Series
FC
site.
Sant'Angelo.
Yeah. So they'll be there in Houston at the ballpark there, and then, of course, in Washington. So I'm for them. But you look at that Houston Astros lineup, and I mean, look
Where's
at
the weak spot?
Numbers. The only place that they're not as productive is at catcher. That is the only position that isn't bonkers. Starting pitching, equal between these two teams. When you talk Cole, Verlander, Greinke, or you're talking Scherzer tonight, then Strasburg, then Corbin. Are you kidding me? But now the fourth pitcher.
I don't think it's that big a difference.
I think it's even. I think it's totally equal across the board. I mean, if you're looking at one guy's year, probably Cole gets the
Cole
nod.
weighs everything.
Yeah.
And we both picked him to be AL Cy Young.
Right. And I think we're going to be right about that.
Well,
but so I'm saying, and as good as that lineup is, the Nats is just about right there. That's what makes it, I think, such a must-win, must-watch kind of World Series. Bottom line, though, when you look at bullpens, clearly the Houston Astros, and the bullpens will get involved at some point. The closer's always going to be involved. I think Houston's got the advantage there. That's why I pick the Astros, who, by the way, have home field advantage because they did win 107 games. Houston in 7 for me. Drew?
Houston 4-3, game 7, Drew.
I'm with you, Dave. I think the bullpens is what's really going to be the difference because both teams' starting pitching is the best 2 starting threes that any team in Major League Baseball has this year. Both teams can hit. I like the Astros better at the plate, but I think it really does come down to the bullpen. I'm going to take the Astros in 6.
We've made 8 picks so far in this postseason. Dave's 4-4. Drew's 4-4. I'm 5-3. I have the Nats. Y'all both have Houston.
We could all very well. You either win it or we're all tied.
But I would say if we tie, the team that had the winner in the World Series being you two.
I would have to agree.
Did any of us get pick and games right for extra points?
Pick and games right for extra points. I didn't analyze it that closely, but I will.
Well, I mean, if it all comes down to ties, we got to have a winner.
We got to have a winner, don't we? Because you hate.
I hate ties.
Ties
there are
were
no
a beautiful
ties.
thing.
There are no ties in my life.
If I were you,
I win or I lose.
Drew, if I were you, I would just keep it where it is.
No,
it's not going to work out well for you.
I'd feel better losing. At least you beat me fair and square. I don't like a tie. It sounds like a give. Give it. You're giving it to me.
How about if he takes us to lunch if we win? We've done that before.
I offered to take you tomorrow.
I can't. I got a meeting. What do you want from me?
I mean, you came up with an excuse that I got to hang out with Coach Hardaway. I mean, I get that all the time. I get that all the time. This portion of our show brought to you by Williams Equipment Supply. They're your locally homegrown, locally owned, #1 in compact construction equipment dealer. They've represented the Bobcat Company for 50 years. Bobcat, the industry leader in compact loaders and excavators, support American manufacturing. Buy, lease, or rent Bobcat equipment. Williams Equipment Supply, the largest compact equipment dealer in the Mid-South with 9 great locations. There's one very close to you. They have the largest inventory of equipment, attachments, and parts, the largest compact rental fleet, the best technicians, and the most locations. Let Bobcat help you out with the leading technology and backed up by Williams Equipment staff of parts and service techs. Contractors get their work done efficiently and, most importantly, profitably. In North Mississippi, contact the Bobcat specialist. That's Cody Bumpus. Cody's cell is 901-508-8739. In Memphis, the Bobcat specialist, Sam Watson. Sam's cell, 901-326-6429. Williams Equipment Supply, the largest compact equipment dealer in the Mid-South with 9 great locations.
Can I ask you, is it my imagination or are we seeing the NFL do things we've never seen before? Today,
the trades are unbelievable.
That's what I'm talking about. Today,
we've got real hot stove in the NFL. We used to not.
Mohamed Sanu got picked up for a second-round choice.
Just
looking for an inside receiver. Because,
Falcons have quit.
And the Falcons just said, yeah,
we're done.
We'll take picks. And just now, the San Francisco 49ers, my Niners,
man,
they just traded a draft choice for Denver, who's now going to tank the Broncos wide receiver Emmanuel Sanders.
It's a tankathon in the NFL.
It's crazy. Never seen this before.
No,
Never.
Used to, you would not see any in-season deals.
I know. We take a break. When we come back, we will talk with our friend Brent Beard at 4:30. Jeff Moore will talk about this new experience that could be called tanking in the National Football League. That's an hour in the books. This is Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
Upgrade your commute at Acura of Memphis. Seize the thrill and test drive one of our award-winning models, each packed with cutting-edge technology, luxurious amenities, and a driving experience that's sure to awaken your inner self. Driving shouldn't be a chore, it should be an adventure. Advance your drive today. Shop our aggressive lease and finance options now. Luxury is waiting at Acura of Memphis, or shop online 24/7. Visit AcuraofMemphis.com.
Bartlett Small Engine has been serving quality power equipment since 1970. They have a full line of power equipment, parts, and services for most makes and models. Bartlett Small Engines has the best brands in the power tool industry: Honda mowers, trimmers, and generators, Steel blowers, trimmers, and chainsaws, Echo trimmers, blowers, and chainsaws, plus quality products from Red Mat and Shindawa. And they're all American made. Bartlett Small Engine is your can-do store. 6780 Summer Avenue. Call 901-386-9779.
I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses will buy a house in any area, in any condition. And yes, it's guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your home quickly, call 901-406-1101. If you've been through a divorce, if you lost your job, if you're tired of renters, I Buy Houses can get you your money quickly. I Buy Houses will buy your home in Shelby County, DeSoto County, Memphis, Bartlett, South Haven, Horn Lake, Olive Branch, anywhere and everywhere in between in any condition. And yes, they're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that pen, 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses.
Pop the top on your next party. 34 North Cocktails. Available in Memphis now. Great for football grove parties, around the hunting campfire, and when you get home, entertain friends. Pop a premium can of Barrel Thief. Tastes just like an old-fashioned Barrel Thief made with aged bourbon, bitters, a hint of orange, a touch of vanilla, 15% ABV. Then, for you vodka lovers, try Sneaky Pucker, a refreshing lemonade premium vodka cocktail, 12.5% ABV. Made with super premium vodka, lavender, simple syrup, and lemonade. Delicious and smooth. Let the party begin with 34 North Cocktails.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
This is Jason Mott. Join me November 9th downtown at the Column for our 8th annual Jason Mott Foundation Cornhole Challenge. Doors open at 6. For tickets and more information, click the events tab at jasonmottfoundation.org. Looking forward to seeing you out there, and let's strike out cancer.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG FLP Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, more of Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
That's good. Back in hour number 2.
Any Mike's live story would get me and Brent Beard sentimental. And you too, Dave.
Revisiting what I just told
Some
you
guy.
About it. But who did I always? It was John Ward. I was telling you that story about when my first son was born, and
just so
Mike's live. Now he was not the commissioner of the SEC at that time. He was commissioner of the Great Midwest Conference, and
fresh from that law firm that represented everybody in trouble.
Exactly. Well, yeah, that's really where his entree into college athletics began, and he just wrote the nicest note on my son's birth. Basically saying,
that is Mike's
your dad's a part of the family, so now you are too. Welcome in. And it was very, very moving.
What a guy.
We, as always, on Tuesdays in this time slot, we talk to our friend down in Jacksonville. We talk college football, in particular the SEC. And I don't know. I think...
Brandon, have you ever heard nicer stories than that about John Ward and Mike's live with Dave's firstborn?
Clive was greatly underrated in some ways as a human being. He could be tough when he needed to, i.e., wasn't it when he fined Lane Kiffin? Was that Kiffin and Meyer that he fined, guys?
Yeah.
At that point, a substantial amount of money for their little feud in the press, and he put a stop to that.
Not going to happen. He wasn't going to put up with it. And kind of the tattletale recruiting stuff, I mean, he would have gone in a long time before some other commissioners and said, we don't do this. We don't operate like this.
Oh,
absolutely.
He absolutely.
But I'll say this: the stories of him as a genuine human being, and he was very accessible. And listen, at me, it was almost funny. In media days, you would see him just standing standing in the corner almost by himself, and with the egos of some of these commissioners in the past, he was refreshing. And listen, it's always worth it. He made some mistakes, there's no doubt, but overall, guys, what he did for the league, what he did for college football will never be undervalued.
No, what he did, the very first thing, was he came in and he said, you coaches are idiots. Quit turning each other in. You let me take care of that. Quit cheating for one.
Quit cheating for one.
And you let me take care of anybody who is cheating, and we'll clean it up. And honestly, the news came out today that the SEC has 4 of the top 10 coaches in America when it comes to salary. The only guy that is not that's in that very top echelon is Dabo Swinney from Clemson, who's making $9.3 million this year. But Saban is 2. Jimbo Fisher is 4. There are 4 in the top 10. Gus, by the way, is 6th. Gus Malzahn. Mullen is 7th. Bottom line is the average guy makes $4.95. Let's call it $5 million a year. And that all started because Mike Slive got them all on the right page, and he negotiated the TV deals.
And I remember it wasn't that long ago where everybody in the Western Division made $4 million, and there were some people that probably were questioning that. But you go with what the market gives you, and that is what he was able to do. Slive, unbelievably instrumental in getting the playoff format going. I thought that was one of the greatest things he's ever done. But just a remarkably smart human being. That he was a quiet man, reserved, but genuine. But when he needed to carry the big stick, he could do it.
Brent, tell me where the Arkansas, Ole Miss, and Mississippi State seasons go from here.
Well, that's a great question. I think a lot of that depends on for Arkansas and Mississippi State. I think is going to depend on the quarterback, and it's also going to depend on for Mississippi State kind of where the coaching rumors are. I think Ole Miss has got their quarterback. Frankly, they've got 2 pretty good ones, but all these teams have still got too many. I think except for Arkansas, they've got 50-50 games they're looking at. You can also throw Kentucky, South Carolina, a few other teams in there with that. But that's a good point.
Vandy's got some 50-50 games,
or it goes downhill in some possible changes, maybe.
Yeah, and at all those places, those 3 places that I referenced, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, and Arkansas, they're all kind of trying to play 2 quarterbacks, and more, if you play 2, you don't have 1.
I totally agree with that analysis that came from Bear Bryant how many years ago?
Many a moon.
It hasn't changed.
And that was in the 10-game season.
Though, about that, you have got, and I don't mean you need to rotate guys, but and I remember LSU of all teams did this a few years ago, is you have your starter, there's no question, but you had a backup where you played that backup a series in the first half and a series in the second half in case you needed to get the backup ready. And I remember the conversation the 3 of us had in the preseason. We're at the point now in the conference with these injuries to quarterbacks, guys, where you've got to have really not 1, not 2, but almost 3 competent quarterbacks that you can put in and play a quarter, a game,
a couple series,
at least a couple of series if you had to do it.
Yeah, a couple series for sure, but almost all 3 places, it really looks like it. At Arkansas, boy, when they play Hicks, everybody's dreaming of Starkle. When you play Starkle, you're dreaming of Hicks. At Ole Miss, when Corral's in, boy, wish Plumlee was in. Plumlee's in, wish Corral was in. At State, give me Stevens. No, give me
Schrader.
Give me Schrader. When Schrader's in, give me Stevens. And And the backup quarterback's always been popular.
Always. If the first guy is not doing well. But here's the deal. I'm with you. You got to have a backup. I don't know that you need to even play him a series in every game or in a half or whatever it
Not
may
at all.
be. I mean, if in a perfect world, you're ahead in the second half and you put him in. But if you're playing an SEC schedule, I got my guy because you can only get so many reps in a practice. You're playing the main guy, and then you're given at the end of practice
Time limitations.
that guy. You only
That's
got
right,
20
Dave.
hours a week
I mean,
now.
It's just so much run you can give him, Brent.
Well, I think if you're in Alabama right now, there are a lot of people wishing that they'd given Mac Jones more reps.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, but where? But where are you going to give them to him from?
Look, I know
In the second half of every game?
Yeah. Well, for teams like Alabama, you could probably do that. So, but I mean, my point is, you've got, and see, they made this point during the broadcast with about Mac Jones, who's from Jacksonville, that he just has gotten very limited time with the receivers, and that's hurt him. Now he'll get all he wants to this week, beyond a shadow of a doubt. But I'm going to be curious in the coming years of how we look at that backup role, because I mean, it's amazing, guys, when you think about it. From Jake Bentley at South Carolina, and you can go through several of them this year of who we thought was going to be the quarterback in SEC media days compared to what it has wound up now.
Oh, it's radically different. I mean, if somebody at SEC media days, all right, we always know the specter of injury exists, but for the Arkansas game, October 26th, it's going to be Mac Jones in there, and I don't know this at all, but what if Alabama Medical and Coach Saban are playing a little possum with us, and it's got to be Mac Jones out there for LSU. Nobody had that one. Arkansas, we mentioned the two. Auburn, we didn't know at media days it would be the younger Knicks, but we did in late August. Florida doesn't have the guy we thought. Georgia has the guy we thought, but he's not playing very well. Kentucky down to a wide receiver. Joe Burrow at the top of the Heisman candidacy. We didn't have that. Ole Miss and State's been referenced. Kelly Bryant's been pretty good. South Carolina with 3. Tennessee with 2, and maybe looking at playing a third one this week. Mon's been pretty steady. Vandy on their second one. It's a mess.
I don't know if we have seen this to this degree in the conference. I mean, we cover his conference very closely, and I don't remember anything close to this, guys, frankly, over the last, 10 to 20 years almost, where we've had this much change, either because of injury or because of just someone's outperformed the other at some point. It is a different year, and I'm not. I mean, it could happen in any time, but this year's been very unusual.
24 different starters among the 14 SEC quarterbacks this year.
That's amazing. It truly is.
14 SEC teams.
I'm trying to think how many of those quarterback changes were made predicated on injury. We know
Bama, Ole Miss, and Tennessee, for sure.
Florida.
Florida.
Did Garantano get hurt when they put in Mauer? I think it's different. I think Garantano wasn't effective. They brought in Mauer, and then they brought Garantano back because
at minimum,
he kept getting hurt. He kept getting hurt, and
Tommy Stevens got banged up.
Tommy Stevens got hurt. There's 2 that were changed
Kentucky
by injury.
Had 2 hurt.
3, yeah,
third guy.
Exactly. South Carolina quarterback got hurt, so it's injuries more than anything else.
Oh yeah, and listen, how many of them though were? This is fascinating too. Is you could say with Florida, the injury to Franks actually propelled them into a better quarterback, into a better passing attack.
Do you believe that, Brent?
You can't say that necessarily for all of them, but every now and then that happens, and for Florida this year, it certainly has.
So you believe Trask really is legitimately better? Okay.
Yes. I'd frankly heard that for quite a while, but for whatever reason, you remember 2 guys last year. They got blitzed by Missouri, and they put Trask in for Franks because Franks was struggling, and Trask was going to be the guy. He got hurt in practice on Thursday, and then they went back to Franks, and he kind of got himself together at that point. But yeah, I do. He just makes quicker decisions. He has a strong arm. Has been very accurate for them. And I'm not saying Franks doesn't have his gifts, because he does. But Trask has worked out better for them this year.
Well, the Corral Plumlee situation arose from Corral getting hurt initially.
It did. Late in the Cal game.
And so I kind of go with him with Trask. Do you get that sense? Because I know Plumlee's a better runner, but I don't think he's a better thrower. Is Ole Miss in a better position with Plumlee or with Corral?
Dave, when one's in, I'm kind of wishing for the other one. Constantly. I mean, I will say this, and when I say this, I don't think that Matt Corral, I think he has played hard, but Plumlee really, really plays hard. I think Matt Corral has played hard, but opening day he was largely ineffective up until there were points in the Cal game. He was okay. Points in the Arkansas game, okay. I think at Ole Miss right now, regardless of who's in, get you one or two little bitty pass routes down, get something that they both throw well, and keep running that. And the deep ball has been, of course, we got spoiled with the deep ball with Bo, with Chad Kelly, with Jordan Tiamu, with Shea Patterson. We got spoiled with the deep ball and with the deep ball route runners. We don't really have that right now at Ole Miss.
Here's another thing in looking at the quarterback situation, which we wondered if we would ever see, is in this conference, a lot of the guys that we're talking about, the reason their injuries, and this has been even more important, is because you can make the argument, at least for this year, the league is more of a passing league in some ways than it has been in a while.
Mm-hmm. And the numbers show it.
You've got your upper echelon in Alabama, in LSU, and Florida. All three of them, frankly, have struggled running the ball, and they're better passing teams than they are running teams this year. I never thought we'd see that, guys,
Saturday.
5 and 10 years ago in this league, but football changes. We all know that. We have seen that, and I think that's had an effect on the quarterback situation too.
I keep it every week. Last Saturday, the team that won the rushing battle went 3-4 in the SEC.
Really?
The team that won the passing battle went 7-0.
That's getting closer as this year has progressed.
75% to 72%.
But Brad, with us growing up with the league, it would have been just the reverse 10, 15, 20 years ago, wouldn't it?
Almost every week.
Every week.
Yeah. And that's when I started charting it about 1993, and I promised 75% in the preseason. Well, I'm at 75 right now on rushing, and I always say that it will beat passing, but it's 75 to 72 right now. Usually it's around 75 to 80 to about 55%.
More teams are passing. That's the bottom line.
And setting up the run with the pass.
Yeah.
Well, and aren't some of these passes, guys, virtual runs?
Exactly.
They are.
As a quarterbacks are throwing to these multi-talented receivers around the line of scrimmage and asking them to break tackles and use their speed to get down the field.
How concerned are you about Georgia? They won a game Saturday, winning the passing battle with 35 yards to 17 over Kentucky. Kentucky was about the only team in the league Georgia could have run into.
35 attempts.
No, 35 yards. They had 35 yards
passing
to 17 for Kentucky with a third-team quarterback that's really a wide receiver. How concerned are you about Georgia and their offensive coordinator?
Well, I think you've got to be to some degree on a variety of levels. In the LSU loss, Trump had over 50 attempts, and they don't win with over 50 attempts. That's been shown in this point. There are several things going on there. One, the line is not what we thought it would be. It's still very good, but because of injury and just because of that they're not on the same page, that has been a problem. These receivers are still learning how to get space against the defensive backs. and Fromm has been off to a degree. There was a fascinating, and I'll make this real quick. Go back and look at this, guys, when you can. When Fromm fades back to pass, he has got what they call a nervous tick, in that he rotates the ball in his hands before he throws it. Maybe you guys do, but I don't ever remember seeing a quarterback do that. The coaches are trying to get him out of it. Now, to his credit, he's done it since he was a child, so it's not a big deal, although I think there's a concern if he got hit in the middle of rotation, would he fumble the ball? I don't know. But again, and they're just having problems getting the ball to their playmakers, and that's what we got from the Georgia beat writers. So Brett, it's a good question because there is some concern, and certainly going in to play one of the better defenses they're going to play the entire year. Now with having Jabari Zuinga and the Greener kid, the transfer from Louisville, coming back for next week's game.
3 weeks from now is Alabama and LSU. Yesterday, Nick Saban said there's no timetable for Tua. Gut feeling, guys, because he had this, which we found out yesterday from Barrett Jones. He had this surgery, which is called tightrope surgery, which is a new technique by doctors that maybe invented this thing down in Birmingham. Will he play in the game?
I think at this point, now he may be playing at 70 or 80%. Now, 78% of 2 is still pretty good. My understanding is with this surgery is the fact that the ankle is stable. The question now is the pain level and how much can he stand by doing it. Now, last year, remember, it was instead of 21 days, it was 29 days. So, but I'll still say they're not going to beat LSU with Mac Jones. They've got to have Tua back there in order to win that game.
And the best game this week, obviously, LSU Auburn. Who wins that game?
I think LSU wins. I don't know if Auburn Auburn can't beat LSU in a shootout because Nix is not ready to do that yet. They don't have Booby Whitlow, and LSU got one of their better wide receivers also back for this game. That's going to be making a difference. The game is Baton Rouge. Marshall's who we're talking about, Terrence Marshall. So I'm guessing right now. Brett may disagree after seeing both of them, but I'm taking LSU in this game because I don't think the Auburn offense can keep up. And B, we saw Auburn in Gainesville against Florida, and you can throw in the Auburn secondary even though they're good.
Brett, I have not. I've not seen neither Auburn nor LSU yet in person. I get them both in the month of November. So
don't be in a hurry.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah.
That's a lot of Tigers.
Yeah. Hey, guys, I also want to add, we got word earlier today, it's a great thing about live radio, that Jacksonville and Florida and Georgia are very close about extending the contract here. As you know, it runs through 2021, and then they weren't sure what was going to go on. Don't know how many years it will be. It will probably be 3 to 5, and then after that, you're talking the middle of next decade. I mean, Lord, we don't know what's going on tomorrow, much less the middle of next decade. So, but the good news for us is that it looks like at least the game will be here probably another, I would say 3 to 5 to 7 years, something like that.
Thank you, my friend.
That's where it should be. Thank you, Brent.
We appreciate it. There's no doubt.
Always a pleasure, guys. Take care.
Thank you.
That's one of the few neutral sites that still exist.
Yeah, and Dallas for Red River.
Yeah.
Really, really good. Also, this one, it's been a lot of different places, Philly, New York mostly. And I was telling you guys yesterday off the air about it. Starting in 2029, Army Navy's going to campus both places for a 6-year run. 2029
I love it.
Annapolis, 30 at West Point.
I love it.
And they're going to try that then. But it's been a lot of different, it's been at the Rose Bowl. It's been in Hawaii. It's been in New York. It's been in Philadelphia.
It's been in every Philadelphia major stadium.
It sure has. And my one Army Navy was at the Vet on December 1, 2001, and it was great. Jason's Deli, healthy first franchise in the nation to be trans fat free. All about trans fat free food at Jason's Deli, and they're also all about choice, regardless if you seek a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, healthy kids meals, or if you want to invent your own sandwich via the Build Your Own, you can do it at Jason's Deli. All the salads, all the soups, all the meats, cheeses, breads, spreads, all great food at Jason's Deli. They love to say, wholesome food forever. It's a family thing, and it is at Jason's Deli. At all these locations, Ridgeway Road, Poplar and Highland, Olive Branch, and Cordova. Plenty of organic food to choose from. Great salad bar, over 30 items just on the salad bar for you. Look, if you're thinking about dinner here in about 35, 40 minutes, 5-ish or so, think about Jason's Deli. Again, Ridgeway Road, Poplar and Highland, Olive Branch, and Cordova. And in all those locations, you wrap it up with the free ice cream. Check them out online as well at jasonsdeli.com, catering anytime, anywhere.
And our title sponsor is Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch, the best marriage of technology and service you've ever seen. Well, this is really the way car business should be done. Go see for yourself. You get on Lamar, you take it into Mississippi. The very first exit is Craft Road. You turn left and go see my friend, Chris True. He's the GM. He's the guy that came up with what they call the shopper assurance. This is where you walk in the door and you see the price, transparent pricing. Then you might say, oh, well, I gotta test drive the car. And he's going to say, we've got flexible test drive. You can take the car for a day if you'd like. Take it for an hour. Take it for 4 hours. Whatever you choose, get to know the car. Then when you buy, and you will, then we're talking about in and out. The streamlined buying process, you're not there half the day. I promise. And then the best thing, if you've got any buyer's remorse, if the car is not performing like you thought it would, 3-day worry-free exchange. Just exchange the car. You got 3 days to change your mind. Nobody does that. Nobody except Homer Skelton Hyundai. And, of course, all of Hyundai product is so good. They give you the Hyundai Assurance. That's 10 years, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty on every new car. Please go see my guys, and you'll understand why this place is so special. It's Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch. Jeff Moore on the National Football League. That's next on Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
Get happy with Johnny Radio's Happy Hour. Weekday afternoons from 1 till 3 on Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And now you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Check it out.
What, this is Sweetgrass?
I know, isn't it great?
Look at the giant bar and those TVs.
They've made a few improvements.
This is amazing. I thought Sweetgrass was perfect, but this is even better. Now I know why we haven't been to Sweetgrass in almost a week. I thought that was strange.
Yep, they've been busy making the atmosphere here at Sweetgrass even friendlier. And now you can catch a game here too.
The menu?
Still great food prepared by great chefs. Now it's just even more relaxed.
Just when I thought I couldn't love Sweetgrass more, they proved me wrong.
You have to be up in 5 hours, 2 hours, 6 minutes. And when you hear, you realize that you haven't slept a wink. That's why there's ZzzQuil Pure Z's, a drug-free blend of botanicals with an optimal dose of melatonin, so you can fall asleep naturally with no next-day grogginess. It's available in both liquid and gummies, tastes great, and is non-habit forming. Pick up ZzzQuil Pure Z's from the sleep experts at Vicks ZzzQuil. ZzzQuil Pure Z's, naturally superior sleep. Available at retailers near you.
Pop the top on your next party. 34 North Cocktails. Available in Memphis now. Great for football grove parties, around the hunting campfire, and when you get home, entertain friends. Pop a premium can of Barrel Thief. Tastes just like an old-fashioned Barrel Thief made with aged bourbon, bitters, a hint of orange, a touch of vanilla, 15% ABV. Then, for you vodka lovers, try Sneaky Pucker, a refreshing lemonade premium vodka cocktail, 12.5% ABV. Made with super premium vodka, lavender, simple syrup, and lemonade. Delicious and smooth. Let the party begin with 34 North Cocktails.
It's game on at the new Moneyline Book Bar and Grill inside the Gold Strike Casino Resort. Now you can bet on all of your favorite sports and watch the games on 60 HD TVs while you lounge in plush seating and enjoy craft beers, signature cocktails, and great food. Plus, don't miss the Topgolf Swing Suite, a virtual reality experience with a variety of fun interactive games every sports fan will love. Visit the Moneyline Bar, Book and Grill at Gold Strike Casino Resort for Monday Night Football happy hour specials. Or anytime you want a piece of the best sports action in Mississippi.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. Now, more of Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshyn and Brad Norsworthy.
Strapped against my back.
Cruising right through our Tuesday. This time slot, always our friend Jeff Moore has been doing this forever, and we're grateful for that. Comes in, and we talk National Football League, former Los Angeles Rams. I don't know why I almost said St. Louis Rams because they were the Cardinals.
He was L.A. Rams
when you were playing.
St. Louis really just borrowed them for a few years. Getting
They did. We're seeing some weird stuff today. The San Francisco 49ers just traded to get the Broncos wide receiver Emmanuel Sanders for a draft choice. And then earlier today, the New England Patriots, like they need help. They got another interior receiver because Edelman's not 100% healthy. They got a tight end who's hurt. They picked up Mohamed Sanu from the Falcons, who are tanking. We know Washington and Miami are both tanking. I've never seen this before. You tell me, you've been observing since you've been playing in the NFL and then working with George and myself a long time. I don't remember trades like this. I don't remember tanking ever in the NFL. What in the world is going on?
Well, I think the smart teams are just trying to improve, and they're keeping their foot on the accelerator as far as evaluating talent, regardless of how good their season is going. They're always looking to improve. And then you have those teams that are stumbling that think that a draft pick is a step in the right direction as far as them trying to get better in the future. And so every player is pretty much, or at least most players are pretty much available if they can get a good draft pick for them. So, in a lot of cases, some teams just don't put that kind of premium on draft picks, and some teams do.
Cincinnati dangling A.J. Green.
Yeah, and they should. I mean, I think A.J. is a talent that a lot of players would love, a lot of teams would love to have, and they can use some help in some other areas.
I'd like to see the Bears dangle Mitch Trubisky, maybe.
Well, the Bears had a receiver to go with Robinson and with Miller would be really good.
Yeah.
Well, they do. Gabriel.
That's my point.
Yeah.
They need another one. One you can remember his name.
No, they got enough.
They need a quarterback.
You think the Bears have enough
They got 3 or 4. Yes, I do. Yeah. They got 4 or 5 guys. They got a tight end that can catch the ball.
I think Trubisky always could use help.
They don't have a guy who can doggone throw the ball. Now, maybe they don't have the greatest offensive line, and their coach is a phony. But other than that,
man, the complete takedown of Nagy, hadn't it been?
Just cruel, Dave. First the white flag, and not only are you surrendering, you're tearing it down.
I'm sorry.
It's one thing to wave the white flag. It's another to tear your own team down.
Do you realize the Bears, under this genius offensively, they haven't had a game with 300 yards. Not one game with 300 yards.
That's pretty telling. That is. And there's a lot of blame to go around. But Trubisky is demonstrating that he's just not up to the task.
Especially when you could have had Mahomes or Watson. But nonetheless, his day wasn't as bad as Broadway Sam.
Yeah.
I mean, Sam Darnold last night, that's the kind of game you worry
Jeff, I picked
about.
the Jets straight up yesterday.
Did you? Are you serious?
Yeah.
He actually nicknamed him Broadway Sam. He was going to take over for Joe Willie.
I think Sam's going to be okay. I mean, I do. I
do too, really.
Most quarterbacks, I'm going to tell you, you're going to have a defensive guy running at you unblocked. Yeah, most quarterbacks are going to panic in that situation. Yeah, I mean, he got the ball knocked out of his hands once.
A lot of back foot throws.
Yeah, and that's going to happen, especially with a young quarterback that doesn't understand you just throw the ball in the dirt and save yourself for another day. I like Sam Darnold, and I think he's going to be okay. I think it was a poor decision to have him mic'd up. I think it's a poor decision to have any player mic'd up during a live game. That's something that you go back and play in past tense. But
well,
it's
in
just too
essence,
much.
that was. So here's
Yeah.
the deal, and we started talking about this earlier in the show, in the beginning, maybe our first segment. This, to me, is an issue that ESPN now has with a couple of different teams. One, Ole Miss,
That was a different network.
That was a different network? Oh, I'm sorry. But they made a deal, and they had the assistant coaches on camera.
Mm-hmm.
And
Big unflattering shot of Rich Rod in
It
the
was
press
an
box
unflattering
at Alabama.
shot. Okay. This one, ESPN comes in. To me, it's a silly segment anyway, because all you ever get is this rah-rah stuff.
Yeah.
Let's go, guys.
Right.
Oh, did you see that hat? Or, nothing that is really beneficial to understanding or making the game more interesting. It's all cliche garbage. And then the one time they get something that might be meaty and make a point, they embarrass the guy. And he is embarrassed. He's basically going and saying to the coach who he's hoping is going to help him, man, I'm seeing ghosts out there. And so he's hoping for some guidance, and ESPN puts that on, and it makes him look foolish, and it makes the organization look foolish, and I don't blame them for being mad. So I don't even know why ESPN does this segment, because most of the time it's garbage.
I think the segment could be really interesting if it's done post-play, because there are some interesting things that are said and shared, but there's just too much risk of the wrong thing being said when it's live, because a lot of things can be said.
But
that
Jeff,
are
that's not
inappropriate.
live. They come out of the break. They've heard it. They make the decision then. So if that were live, then you couldn't say, well, they embarrassed them.
Yeah.
That's just the breaks of the game. But no, this was they don't put it live. They edit it.
Well, what I mean when I say live, I mean during the game.
So you wouldn't mind it post
game,
post game,
like
in the post game show.
Yeah,
or something.
even several days later, but not something that you connect with a game that's going on at the same time, because again, so many things are said in the heat of the moment that are somewhat inappropriate, and I know it's edited to some extent. But yeah, they did embarrass him to have to turn around in a press conference and explain that.
Yeah,
it's not good. But again, I think he's a heady young man that's going to be fine.
When is Adam Gase going to be savant?
I thought he was overrated. I really didn't see the schedule of accomplishments that took place in Miami for him to even get that job. So I'm still scratching my head about that.
And cost the GM.
Yeah. The Jets, unfortunately, are not one of those teams that has demonstrated that they have their act together as far as their front office and their coaching staff.
I'm going to go back to something a wise person once said right here. Oh, it's you. You said, because you're a great offensive coordinator doesn't make you a great head coach.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Adam Gase was going to be terrific. I really did when he was the Bears offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
I think he proved in Miami, maybe I was wrong. Now he's really showing us while he was with the New York Jets. I'm with you. I don't understand why he got that gig.
Yeah, it's a totally different job. I mean, it's like you have not only just the evaluation of, and again, as to be a great offensive and defensive coordinator, you're focused on just offense or defense, not both. Not media, not all the other things that go with being a head coach. So, fortunately, most head coaches kind of go through that progression, and a small percentage of them are able to make that transition. But it's a totally different job, and I think it really gets down to a guy really being able to understand that it's a different job and focusing on being a head coach if he gets that opportunity. I see too many instances where a guy is elevated to head coach, but he wants to have all the input in the offense or the defense. It's not a good decision.
As bad as the Jets looked last night, and it was all-timer on Monday Night Football, how'd they beat the Cowboys?
Well, they were fortunate early in that game that they got the Cowboys on their heels, and I think the Cowboys kind of got away from what they do best, and they started to doubt themselves. But, they looked in the mirror this past week and realized that they do have some good assets, good skill on both sides of the ball, and they came out and played well. And I think they coached, and their coaching staff did a better job of preparing them than maybe they had done the previous 3 weeks. It's just one of those cliches on any given Sunday. And I'm not one that thinks that the Patriots are unbeatable. I mean, I think, they're fortunate. They're not going to beat themselves. They just aren't going to make the kind of silly mistakes that we see a lot of times other pro teams make. But, they're not formidable on offense. They have a really good defense. They're not a defense that can just stop a good offensive team. And they're going to get tested.
And Brady's just been good. Yeah. He had been great this year.
Their defense has been outstanding.
Great.
Do you know, going into last night, would they have 4 picks last night?
Yeah.
Going into last night, they already had more interceptions this year than they did in any single year the last 3 years.
And that was his calling card for a long time, was a defensive guy, Belichick.
Well, he's taken back the reins. You know that, don't you?
The thing is that I look at is who have they beat? Who have they defended? And they've not beat
that division.
Teams that had great quarterbacks yet. They haven't played against any good quarterbacks, but they will be tested. They play Baltimore soon.
They got Cleveland this week. That's one of the premier games. Cleveland at New England and Green Bay at Kansas City.
You think Belichick's
on
losing
paper
sleep over Baker
are the
Mayfield?
2 ones.
I don't think he's losing sleep, but I think Cleveland can move the ball against this defense, and I think they will test them and be able to see that there's some vulnerability. There were some plays that the Jets left on the field last night where they had a position, they had an opportunity, and Sam just really overthrew the receiver or something.
The Patriots' best win was in Buffalo.
Yeah,
and narrowly.
Under though. It's a shame. Cleveland gets back. He's now for the first time able to practice. The former Kansas City running back, whose name escapes me at the moment, Kareem Hunt. It's too bad he's not back for this game. He can't play until the 9th game. He missed 8 games after the season. But he will help them to go along with everything else that they have. But, nonetheless, New England is still a double-digit favorite in that game.
They're a good team. I mean, I love the fact that they're just so disciplined and they don't make mistakes and they create confusion. I love Tom Brady and the decisions he makes with the football. You don't see him get sacked. He gets the ball out of his hands. They do a great job of protecting him. But this is not a team to me that's unbeatable by any stretch.
The other game on Sunday night will be the Kansas City Chiefs at home against Green Bay. No Mahomes, though. And Aaron Rodgers is coming off a perfect rating. I don't know. You can't get any better than that.
It's been really great to see Aaron Rodgers and his head coach get on the same page and really be able to toss the ball around the yard the way they've done and have a respectable running game and their defense playing as well as they're playing. But that NFC North is just, man, that division is something because Kirk Cousins has awakened and their Minnesota is playing extremely well and probably the most balanced team that I'm seeing so far this year with the way they're running the football and throwing it.
What's been the team for you that's been the most fun to watch so far in the NFL this year? Just their own, you want to watch them.
I've been fascinated by the 49ers. I keep scratching my head thinking,
who told you?
Man, this defense, they've got some man-eaters on defense. Their defense is the biggest surprise.
They run the ball well, too.
And they run the ball well, and they throw the ball with some really interesting creativity, and they cause a lot of confusion, and they're just winning and having fun doing it. That team has been fascinating.
And Jimmy G actually manages the game well. You guys won't give him credit.
Just did. He does. So both of the undefeated quarterbacks are out of the Belichick system.
And that's
Brady and Jimmy G.
And Jacoby Brissett is looking good.
That's another
well.
one. Yeah.
That's the answer for me. It's been the Colts. I love Frank Reich. Maybe Frank Reich needs more credit for what he did with Nick Foles on that championship Eagles team. He made Nick Foles a Super Bowl
good
MVP.
Point. Yep.
He did. And of
there
course
is a coordinator who's become a good head coach.
Yeah,
we got one.
Yeah, and of course he played the position too, so he understands a little bit more about what goes into that whole process of preparing a quarterback, preparing an offense, and then being able to make it happen in real time on the field.
And he was in that meeting room watching one of the greats play it in Jim Kelly.
Oh, absolutely,
no doubt,
absolutely. So. I think he's done a great job as a head coach, and because the Colts are. I thought them winning the Texans. I like the Texans in that game, and for them to beat the Houston the way Houston was playing so well was a big statement on their part.
Last thing for Jeff Moore, we switch gears. We don't normally talk to you about college football, but you are a former volunteer. Your thoughts?
It always feels like it's a thorny issue we bring up with UT and Jeff. It really does.
Well, part of that
one
is
of these days it's going to be Jeff. They're undefeated. How do you feel?
Under the tutelage of Jeremy Pruitt this year, there have been a few moments of uncomfortability. Let's put it that way. Your take on the grabbing of the face mask of Garantano?
Totally inappropriate. Totally outdated. It shows to me a coach who's desperate, who's not thinking about what he's doing and what impact that impulse is going to have on the rest of his team. He is losing that locker room by the day, unfortunately. And I was pulling for the guy. Again, it goes back to my theory about defensive, offensive coordinators being promoted to head coaches that aren't ready for that job.
He is Jeff Moore. Thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you, Jeff.
As always, we appreciate it.
All right.
That is Jeff Moore, brought to you in part by Eflin Insurance. I could talk about Matt Eflin all the time. He's a go-getter who's done really, really well. He's only been in the business 20 years. Well, only. I guess I say that because as soon as he got out of college, he went to work. He graduated from the U of M, and then he started doing his thing in insurance in this market. He's only been in this market, but he's done it for 20 years, and now he's got several offices. The main one in Bartlett, right there at 8099 Stage Hills Boulevard. And part of the reason that he's so successful is his personable about the whole thing, and he wants to get to know you. He really cares about what needs you might have to be protected, to feel secure. So he's got a one-on-one approach. He evaluates each individual's insurance needs, and of course, he specializes in all types of insurance, personal or business. He sits you down. It's a collaborative process. He'll ask you exactly what you need for your family, for your health, whatever it may be. If it's personal, if it's business, what do you forecast? What's the thing down the road? What do we most need to protect? And then he gathers all the products and gives you options, and all of a sudden you feel really good. So if you would like quotes or that personalized service I'm talking about and you want to feel protected, please call this number, 757-2315, 757-2315. That's the Eflin Insurance Group. We take a break. We're back in just 1 minute. This is Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
Sports 56 now has 2 FM homes. You can now find real sports talk on 96.1 as well as 87.7 on your FM dial.
Hi, this is John Conway with Conway Services. Did you pay a big repair bill on your existing heating and air conditioning system this year? Is your energy-guzzling heating and air conditioning system on its last leg and you think it's worth nothing? Good news, it's buyback days at Conway Services. We'll buy back your repair bill this year up to $1,500 toward the purchase of select Carrier Infinity systems. That's right, we'll buy back your repair bill up to $1,500, even if we didn't do the repair. Just show us your repair receipt from any company and we'll buy your repair back. If you didn't have a repair bill this year, we'll give you up to $1,500 trade-in on that old energy-guzzling system toward the purchase of select Carrier Infinity systems. When air conditioners get old and inefficient, the cost of repairs and high utility costs could almost pay for a new system. So call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric service company at 384-3511. And the first 30 callers with a 10-year-old heating and air conditioning system will come out and inspect it absolutely free.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
Looking for a great place to deposit your money? Try First Bank. Competitive CD rates, a money market that moves with Wall Street prime and interest-bearing checking account options. Not to mention their friendly bankers who make decisions locally. To find out more, stop by one of First Bank's 3 local branches: 6482 Poplar Avenue, just east of International Paper, 8398 Highway 64 across from Wolf Chase, and 6280 Highway 64 in Oakland. Or visit firstbankonline.com. Member FDIC.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? Well, we have you covered at Humdinger's. It's quick and it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. With many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger's, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
DeSoto Auto Sales specializes in late model cars with low mileage. They have the highest standards in the car industry. All of their cars are test-driven, checked out from head to toe, unlimited inventory, every make and model. And if it's not on the lot, they'll find it for you. Walk in the door of DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Within 45 minutes, you can test your car, get credit approval, and finish paperwork within an hour. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales. Kind, courteous employees, a down-home environment. DeSoto Auto Sales cares about your time. Lowest prices in a 350-mile radius. We're living in a world today where time does matter. Visit them online. Check out their referrals. DeSotoAutosales.com. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and other surrounding areas. DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Call 662-890-7184. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto Auto Sales.
I love fall. The landscape is so beautiful at Town Village Audubon Park. Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. Looking for a great place to retire, but you still have a very active lifestyle? Then visit Town Village. Only requirements that you're 55 plus. Prices per month starting at $2,300. Gourmet Chef Drew invites you to visit our restaurant and bistro. Package includes 3 complimentary meals per day, maid service, free local transportation, daily check-in, monthly coffee club, themed dinner parties, lots of fun. Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home. Town Village Audubon Park.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
Now, more of Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Welcome back in as we close out hour number 2. Last night I mentioned, I thought Matt Luke did a heck of a job talking about leadership and everything else at the Touchdown Club last night at the Butcher Shop.
I wish people could see the underpinnings of the program. What most people see, and they don't get the look that I get and a lot of people, and some get, they see wins and losses. They see the record. But I can guarantee you the undergirding of the program is getting firm.
Well, he talked about that foundation, and he made a big point about doing it right, and that it won't be full of little potholes or filled with sand that where it can sink, that this is being done the right way, and he sold me on it. And then the head coach of the perfect 8-0 Briarcrest Saints was there because Jabari Small was honored as the player of the week. He's their running back. And Brian Stewart asked Matt Luke a question pertaining to if there was anything you could change about recruiting, because recruiting is so darn time-consuming and energy-sapping, and it never ends. And so
now you got to recruit your own roster for transfer portal.
Well, that was sort of brought up, but when it was just strictly recruiting as we know recruiting today, even with the two recruiting periods, which I asked him about, and he goes, well, there's good and bad with both. He didn't seem to mind the dual recruiting period. But what he said, and it made a lot of sense to me, because there's so many games that are played with kids with recruiting. He said, if I could change one thing about recruiting, it would be if I make an offer to that kid and that kid goes, yes, you commit right now, then I've used up that scholarship,
You
and
signed the
we
papers.
know it. The papers
That's the Bo Pelini
are
rule.
signed.
Bo Pelini
and you
was
said
out there
that I'd
for
never heard that. I've never heard of that before.
When he was at Nebraska, and he was really mad at Hugh Freeze for the 300 offers nationwide.
Right.
And getting DeMaurice Stringfellow in the transfer from Washington. Pelini was irate. And he said, when you offer, if they go, okay, I accept, you sign right there and it counts.
And that's the way it should, and you only get 25.
That's it.
And then you're not going to offer a ninth grader.
Yeah, that bogusness is over.
Yeah, because then you sign that kid. Now, that's part of your class 4 years from now. But
And you're not going to string a kid along. You're not going to string him along thinking he's got a
to
deal.
me, that's the biggest thing, too, is that I may offer you.
Because you really want Drew.
Because I want Drew, and I want Drew to
Drew
know
can
I'm
play.
offering, so you better sign with me because I'm offering him.
I played two
and
plays in high
those games.
Yeah, but we're homies, man. You're coming with me.
Those games are being played all the time.
You're
and I
cutting me
love
loose.
that.
I saw that
love
in
it.
action
So if
today.
you make the offer, the day you make the offer, the kid says yes or no, and if he says yes, fantastic. If he says no, well, you can move on or you can try it again another
And
day.
then you can't get the night before signing day and the really coveted running back you really wanted decides to go with you, and you call up the other guy and go, hey, we're moving on from you.
Right.
No, you're not. I've already signed.
Exactly.
I
And
wish
that
you would have.
so that means that those offers would go way down. But that would be the best thing for the kids.
does it-
I think that would be the best thing for the student athlete.
Does it cut out or does it make the recruiting industry better?
I think it makes it cleaner.
The media part of it, the recruiting expert part of it.
Well, that would take a little bit away from them because as soon as that offer's made, you're either saying yes or no.
Because you take all the pop out of the first Wednesday. of
Look,
February.
and seriously, I don't want to pick on Hugh Freeze, but out of those 300 offers, how many was he really serious about? I'll tell you how many. 25. No, he might have been. He might have been about 40, and 15 turned him down.
Yeah, but to offer the wide receiver in Pilot, Washington, why? He's not going there.
Or to offer a kid who's a sophomore.
Yeah.
Come on. That's just show. That's to get your name out there. This portion of the show is brought to you by Mario's Pool. That is your one-stop shop for everything you need for your swimming pool. 19 years of experience in pool supply and, of course, the pool service industry, recognized as the trusted source for advice in about every aspect of pool management and care, and a minority business owner who has been a huge success and always the lowest advertised price on pool supplies. And I'm talking safety covers in particular, which means you have less maintenance, you save money in the long run, it prevents standing water, and it extends the life of your liner. Keep your pool looking great all year and protect your loved ones, your pool, and your pocketbook with a safety cover, which could be mesh or it could be solid. He's got the best advertised price on the pool safety covers. He's the guy who specializes in closings, and with the temperatures the way they are, you're thinking closing your pool. Just call Mario, 552-3399, 552-3399, or go visit him, Mario's on Exeter Road in Germantown. 2 hours in the books, our third and final hour. Coming your way momentarily, Bo Marchant from collegetopro.com will join us. We talk to Shield with Bo in just 1 second.
Hey everybody, this is Coach Penny Hardaway. There's a comfort in being home, and to me, comfort food and family makes Memphis the place to be, along with having the best basketball fans in America. I like pulling into Corky's and getting one of their family party packs. How can you go wrong with pork, beans, slaw, sauce, and buns for only $5.99 a person? It is so easy. I can call ahead, order online, or just pop in. Tailgating can't get any easier. Tell them Penny sent you.
Encore flavor, Corky's barbecue.
Mid-South Power Distributors is your source for all things diesel. Their newly renovated drive-in repair shop is open to the public. Whether it'll be your everyday driver, farm equipment, fleet vehicle, or heavy-duty truck, their ASE-certified technicians will get you back on the road. The on-site dyno is ready to run all the necessary diagnostic testing. From preventative maintenance to complete overhauls, Mid-South Power can handle it all. Stop in today at 3288 Mill Branch Road or call 901-396-0710 and online at mid-southpower.com.
I hired Nuptial Num-Nums to cater my wedding, and it was a disaster. Everyone was raving about the food instead of my dress.
No matter how hard you work for your small business, online reviewers will find something to complain about.
They're like, oh, Veronica, the lamb chops. Did the lamb chops fly you out to Cancun?
And while Progressive can't save you from these trolls, we can help you save money on commercial auto and business insurance.
I will not be hiring them for my next wedding.
Get a quote online today at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliated and third-party insurers.
You'll see the dedication in every single step. You'll see it in the smiles when smiles are hard to get. You'll see it in the little things that add up to success. The caring and passion are the things that we love best.
Wolf Chase Limb Brace is your Mid-South provider for orthotics and prosthetics. They are an ABC-accredited facility, and their practitioners are ABC certified. At Wolf Chase Limb Brace, their services include artificial limbs, legs and arms, braces of all kinds, and custom molded inserts. You can call them today at 901-507-7821 for their location on Highway 64 in between Germantown Parkway and Appling Road, or visit them at their new location in Jackson, Tennessee. That number is 731-660-5900, or visit them on the web at wolfchaselemembrace.com.
Our life to yours. Wolf Chase Limb and Brace.
If you're an outdoorsman and love all things hunting and fishing, be sure to listen to Sports 56 Saturday mornings at 6 a.m. for Outdoors Today. Brought to you by the Gun Store, 6920 Winchester in Memphis. Outdoors Today is a one-hour show hosted by veteran Mark Tobin and a group of respected outdoor-loving guests. Outdoors Today is dedicated to bringing outdoorsmen tips and techniques and tactics to help with your hunting and fishing in all seasons. Saturday mornings at 6 on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 87.7 and 96.1 FM.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Welcome back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Wolosian and Brett Norsworthy.
Come on, Muhammad, then we hit fame. We busy with the deal, we get insane. Hey, I heard you were a wild one.
Welcome back in hour number 3, World Series Game 1 tonight. Astros and the Nats could be a classic, but you know, it's football season. NFL Monday Night Football last night was a nightmare. Nightmare for Sam Darnold and for Adam Gase and for the New York Jets.
And for old Brett.
And for old Brett, who said he smelled an upset coming on. Who said Sam Darnold's about to really become a star.
I was texting with Bo Marchant last night, and I asked rhetorically, Brett Favre returning to New York, playing in the New York Titans brown throwbacks, would have been better than Sam Darnold last night, would he not?
Anybody would have been better than Sam Darnold last night.
Brian Dowling.
Even Mitch Trubisky.
Would have been better last night. This hour brought to you every day by DeSoto Auto Sales, where they have very, very high standards. All the cars test-driven, checked out head to toe, and unlimited inventory. Down on Goodman Road, 5704 Goodman Road, every make, every model. If it's not on the lot at DeSoto Auto Sales, they'll go out and find it for you. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales. They make you this promise, too. The time promise. They know we're living in a world today that time matters. They want you to have the ultimate car experience, and this is how you do it. You go to DeSoto Auto Sales, find the car you want, deal with your sales rep, finish the paperwork, credit approved, you're gone in 45 minutes. It's that simple. We're living in a world today that time matters. They know it. Check them out online at DeSotoAutoSales.com, 5704 Goodman Road. Kind, courteous, down-home, laid-back atmosphere. No high-pressure sales. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto County to DeSoto Auto Sales at 5704 Goodman Road.
Brett asked this question a couple of times today. So Beau Marchant from collegetopro.com, who joins us now, I ask you the same thing. And I can remember your favorite team, Terry Bradshaw, having a terrible first
nightmare rookie year. This isn't Sam Darnold's rookie year, though.
No, but he didn't play much last year. Is this a game that defines Sam, or can he come back and be a big-time guy?
Yeah, I wouldn't put too much emphasis on last night. I mean, they were horrific. He was horrific. He did everything you didn't want to do as a quarterback. I mean, a little bit, I just think he didn't want to take some of those sacks that he knew were coming, and they had no protection for him, and he was just kind of heaving it up there.
Can't blame him.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, better decision-making, but he had few options. I mean, I don't think it defines him. He had a woeful night, but a week ago, they beat the Cowboys, and he was the second coming of Namath. So now he's the second coming of Browning Nagel. So it's a bad night, and they're making this. I was laughing as the Jets are fuming about him being mic'd up in the ghost story, and I keep thinking, what a perfect PR ploy to take away from the debacle that they had on Monday night and just kind of get upset that they leaked some mic information that he said he was seeing ghosts. It's a perfect distraction from what they did Monday night, is to worry about, he said this and, they aired it. But bad showing by the Jets. I thought they were going to be competitive. I didn't think they were going to cover the spread, but I didn't think it was going to be that bad. I thought they would kind of keep it somewhat close and within reason, but, they just got off to a bad start, and Belichick took it to them.
Do you think the league intervenes now with this mic'd up, because it's a bad segment? It never has any real entertainment value or any informational value at all. This is the first time they've ever actually had anything meaty, and unfortunately it embarrassed everybody. Do you believe the mic'd up thing will continue with ESPN?
Yeah, I think it'll continue. They'll probably scold whoever allowed that to happen and kind of move it. But you brought up a great point. I don't think any of us really, get something out of it where it changes the landscape of the game that we're watching. But for the most part, as a fan watching the games, I enjoy it more than, I wouldn't enjoy it, hearing a Clay Matthews say something, or some of these guys just joking around with their teammates, takes you a little bit closer inside the game. And even him saying, I think I'm seeing ghosts. You looked awful. It's probably the worst game he's ever played in his career, high school, college, or pro. So, you probably were seeing ghosts. And, he didn't say anything against the race. He didn't say anything about a religion. He just said, hey, basically summing it up, man, these guys are disguising things, and I don't know what's going on out there. And, hey, at the end of the day, might look foolish, but it's nothing to, wow. Hey, we didn't need Sam Darnold to tell us that. We saw the game.
That's
we
right.
knew he was clueless.
As a rookie, Terry Bradshaw, 6 touchdown passes, 24 interceptions. Again, Sam Darnold's not a rookie.
Whoa.
Second year, 13 TDs, 22 interceptions. In his third year, they went to the AFC Championship game. That was the Immaculate Reception year, and they went 11-3 as a team, and he was off to the races. Terry Bradshaw still a little bit haunted, Bo, in Pittsburgh by a couple things. How he got knocked around after those first few years, the label that was attached to him by some, and Chuck Noll indifferent at times toward him, and that his number has yet to be retired. When does Pittsburgh retire Terry Bradshaw's number?
I don't know. That's a strange thing. Even during the Hall of Fame stuff, there's not that Steeler type massive Bradshaw. He's just kind of his own man, and he's kind of, I don't really know how deep it goes. But, until I would hear anything, I would say, remains to be seen.
Now, he doesn't forget anything. And he can hold a grudge.
You know what, though? I've never heard from any other era with the Rooneys a player who was dissatisfied with the Pittsburgh experience. Really. You go back to that era. You ever hear Rocky Blyer or Franco
Never.
Harris ever say a negative word
Swan or
about that,
Stallworth.
or Swan or Stallworth or
Hammer Lambert?
Any of those guys, or later on,
Right.
in other eras.
I mean, Cordell Stewart's more effusive about his Steelers years than Bradshaw.
I don't really know what the deal is. We know that
He felt a little forced
Terry
out.
can be a little moody,
Mhm.
and he even admits he's had some psychological issues. And
Yeah, he's been
and
through
maybe
everything.
maybe it stems or it brings up bad memories or bad feelings for the guy. I don't know. I mean, what is your sense of why he does not look back fondly so much on his playing days there?
Yeah, I think you guys touched on some of it. It goes back with maybe the relationship with Noel, and then when people look back at the Steelers dynasty with those teams where they won the 4 Super Bowls in the 70s, they think defense first of all, and then I think you think Franco Harris. And it was a different NFL then. The run game was that was your home run hitter. That was the predominant way that you moved offensively, and I think he was. This is a far-fetched comparison, but he was a little bit of that Trent Dilfer type that, hey, you know what, maybe we could have done this with any quarterback in the back. Swan and Stallworth get all the accolades. We all know the amazing acrobatic catches of him in the Super Bowl. They're not the perfect catch, or the perfect ball thrown where he's in style, but he makes the catch. So I think maybe there's a little bit of animosity that stems from that, from just maybe the fan base.
And Bo, I don't know him well, but a friend of mine in Little Rock knows him very, very, very well. And through him, I've had a few conversations at Super Bowls in and around with Terry Bradshaw, and you can feel it talking to him that he runs a little hot. That all right, in Pittsburgh, Franco and this one and that one got out all the credit. Out of the state of Louisiana, all those quarterbacks they've produced. People talk about Doug Williams and Burt Jones and the Manning boys and others, and they get around to Terry Bradshaw too, but they don't first. Even his high school, famed Woodlawn High School in Shreveport, he was not the best one ever out of there. Joe Ferguson, a few years behind him, was better in high school and in college than Terry Bradshaw.
He wasn't better as a quarterback in the NFL.
He was not. But there's always that but and if, and I think it irritates him.
Yeah. Well, when you think 4-time Super Bowl winner, he's never even mentioned in the realm of any quarterback talk.
Now, Bo, I mean this respectfully
ever.
to you. He's a 4-time Super Bowl winner, and you used him in the same sentence with a 1-time Super Bowl winner in Trent Dilfer.
Yeah, and I think that's where everything kind of stems is, he's not viewed as, the Steelers would have won these without him. Put anybody there. I don't necessarily agree with that.
I definitely do not agree with that. I think Terry Bradshaw was a tough guy. I think he stood in the pocket and he winged that ball when they had to. When they stopped Franco and they stopped Blyer, he found Swan, he found Stallworth. He was tough. I don't agree with when people say they could have won that with anybody. I don't agree with that at all.
No, I don't either. But I think that is the perception by some where people think, hey, this team was so good, they could have done without him. It's sad because you guys, everything that you guys said. Great quarterback, great plays. You got to be there to do it. I just think the way the NFL goes, and you think right after he has his heyday, Montana and the Niners come, and it's such a pass-oriented team, and it's all about Joe Montana. And even though they had Ronnie Lott and Fred Dean and these guys, it was always about Joe Montana. So it was almost a role reversal of, Super Bowl dynasties. And then it just kind of, perplexed off that. Aikman was about as close as I guess you could say to Terry Bradshaw as you get, because Aikman was a master technician at, operate in that Cowboys offense, but we always think of him because of the big stats, and we think of Michael Irvin of the big stats. But at the end of the day, they were the triplets, and he was, the third of the trio. So, at the end of the day, it's a pass-happy NFL, and it is sad, that Bradshaw kind of gets lost in the shuffle. But, go out, grab some wings and beers tonight and start talking about quarterbacks.
And look at all your money in your account.
You're going to talk about Manning,
Bradshaw.
you're going to talk about Brady, Breeze, Rodgers, but you are never going to bring up number 12 Terry Bradshaw for the Pittsburgh.
All right, Jimmy Garoppolo. He faces that in San Francisco. I don't care what he does. At the best, he's going to be third or fourth all time in Niners history. Montana, Young, Brody. I mean, even Frankie Albert from the 50s.
He can beat out Frankie Albert. He's not beating out John Brody, though. There's my hero.
John Brody.
He played on the senior tour after that.
George Myra. But Jimmy Garoppolo, I mean, how does he make his...
Well, give him a chance, man. The guy is coming. He hasn't lost a football game this year.
If he goes out with many more porn stars, he may be legendary.
Well, in today's day and age, I mean, if you could even get one Super Bowl, you're going to be rock star status. You know, I mean, with social media and commercial availability. I mean, if you're able to, capture that, if he wins one Super Bowl, especially how long the drought's been since they had the success of the Walsh days and the George Seifert days, I think, in the Bay Area, he would be a celebrity, and, he wouldn't be paying for drinks for the rest of his life in the Bay Area. They're a good football team, and he kind of goes back to that. But, the 49ers, Kyle Shanahan, they don't want to win. I mean, it's great to put up 49 points, but they don't, they want to run the game, run the ball, play great defense, and have Jimmy Garoppolo just manage the offense. If they need him to do what he has to do, that's why they went and got Emmanuel Sanders. They can put the ball in the air, not be one-dimensional. If that comes to it, they're going to be able to pass the ball and push it upfield quicker than, just the regular ground and pound. But at the end of the day, I mean, I think they're doing what they want to do. And I think that's a big, Dave, it goes back to your Bears. I mean, what are they doing offensively? 12-10 at halftime, and they got 7 carries the entire game. I mean, that game wasn't a blowout.
He gave
late.
up on them.
It was a blowout.
He's turned in all
I'm
his
not even
jerseys.
looking at the final score. It was a joke, and I hate to
He
say
texted me Sunday, this text, I hate football.
I did. Well, look, seriously.
That's a defeated man, Bo.
This guy's a fraud. I hate to say it. Nagy is supposed to be
Drew,
a
are you
genius.
putting a compilation tape
A
together?
genius. And the Bears don't have one game with 300 yards of offense.
Yeah.
Most of the time, all their points in that game came from a 99-yard or 102-yard kickoff
a
return.
franchise low of 7 rushing attempts.
And what's he thinking?
The Chicago Bears rushed the ball 7 times.
Just awful. And Trubisky can't make. I mean, he can when the twos are in and there's no pressure on him because nobody cares anymore. But when the game was on the line, he's missing wide open guys like Anthony Miller. Wide open. I'm done. I mean, seriously, the Bears were 3-3 last year, and we're going, okay, they're coming on. The Bears are 3-3 this year. Are going, see ya, we're not making the playoffs.
Did you enjoy it Sunday when Parkey missed the extra point for the Titans?
Every time Parkey misses, I do.
Bo, explain the end of the Titans-Chargers game, can you? I mean, it was a free-for-all.
Yeah, that's. I mean, the Titans, I think, got by on one, and they're going to talk about Tannehill and them being one and under under the the Ryan Tannehill regime now. But the Chargers, not no pun intended, but they fumbled that one away. That's one they'll regret. Even as bad as Tennessee is at 3-4. I mean, you look at the Chargers at 2-5. You just have to think, wow, what a season just gone to waste. And I don't think there's any question. They're not going to be able to kind of come back and make much of it, especially with the 5-1 Bills, and you got the way that some of these other teams, Houston's 4-3, and you got the Colts 4-2. I mean, that's going to be a battle. So they're probably not looking at a playoff season in Los Angeles for the Chargers. But
doesn't
Tennessee,
it just seem?
Go ahead.
Doesn't it just seem that bad things always happen to the Chargers?
Always.
It's just like they're ill-fated.
To leaving town, to
right
now sharing a building with Stan Kroenke. Stan Kroenke's your landlord.
Yeah, it's a messed up thing they have in Los Angeles with them. And they have them in that second fiddle mode. And you look at the Rams, they're going out and they're getting Jalen Ramsey. They're doing all these fantastic things. And the Chargers are just kind of there. And they were so dominant last year. To see everything just kind of unravel for them this season is disappointing, because I think most observers would assume that they would have been the thick of things. At this point, especially after 7 games, you would have thought the worst they would be 5-2. Worst case scenario, 5-2. But now they're 2-5, and it's not looking good.
No,
so
they're
long year.
They're done.
But who knows?
Can Can the Chiefs win without Patrick Mahomes? And they got a tough test this week, even though they're at home. What seems to me, and maybe I'm crazy, but I hate it, the Green Bay Packers are probably the best team, and you can make the case for the Saints, even with Teddy Bridgewater. They both are 6-1, but I think overall, unless Breeze comes back strong, I think the Packers are probably the best team in the NFC. Can the Chiefs have any kind of a competition here without Patrick?
You know what? I think they'll be in trouble without. I mean, it's Patrick Mahomes we're trying to replace here, but Matt Moore. The only reason I would give any benefit of the doubt is because Andy Reid is such a master at getting these quarterbacks up to speed to play well. But the Chiefs have the Packers, they have the Vikings. Those are two formidable opponents coming in the Arrowhead. So even to split those games 1-1, and then they're off to the Titans and the Chargers. As bad as those teams are currently, with Matt Moore as quarterback, I don't think you're any better. And I know they had a miraculous defensive effort, last week against the Broncos, but we've seen that defense has been very lousy. That was the first time they really put everything together. So, can they maintain that, especially against, a Packers offense that looked phenomenal last week and a Kirk Cousins offense now with the Vikings that's playing extremely well. So, I think the Chiefs have their hands cut out for them. I mean, I don't think this is going to be a cakewalk. Again, Mahomes does so many things that we just take for granted. And I think, to say that offense isn't going to regress pretty much, tenfold without him, I think would be a little bit of a daunting task. I think Matt Moore can keep that up. So I do think the Chiefs are going to have their struggles.
How ugly does it get on Andy Reid if he doesn't make a Super Bowl?
Well, I don't know. I mean, he's been in the league so far. He's the second winning act of this coach behind Belichick right now. He's such an offensive guru, and he has Patrick Mahomes, and you watch Patrick Mahomes. I think the thing with Andy Reid is he's so offensively gifted during the season. He puts up some good records that we just get lost, and we kind of just say, hey, the playoffs probably aren't your thing, and probably not going to be your year. A little bit of a Boston Red Sox thing before they kind of
a little bit of Marty Schottenheimer thing.
Yeah, a little bit of Marty Schottenheimer, and it's just kind of sometimes you build up such a long career of disappointment in the postseason that we just kind of give you a pass. Maybe it's not fair, but he's so successful at what he does for so long. I mean, he's going to give you a 10-win season. He's going to take you to the playoffs. Not many coaches can look at that same resume and compare to it. And the postseason rolls around, and it's just never been his time to kind of get over that hump. They are going to get Patrick Mahomes back, and fortunate enough for them that the Chargers are a mess. I don't take Oakland seriously at all, and the Broncos after last Thursday, I just thought just a shameful effort, thinking that they lose their star quarterback and you guys still can't manipulate any points to that scoreboard.
And today they're giving away receivers for draft picks.
Yeah. I didn't realize this when I said it, and then after I said it, I Googled Pro Football Ref. Andy Reid, 7 years, or 7th in number of wins, 21 years. This is unbelievable. He's coached 21 years. He's won 200 games and lost 126 and tied 1. Marty Schottenheimer, 21 years, 200 wins, 126 losses, and a tie. They have the exact same record.
Yeah.
Well, it's changing after this week, buddy.
Yeah. I was looking at that same page today because I actually went lower, and I saw Tomlin, and then I saw Sean Payton. I think Sean Payton's a few wins behind Tomlin, but I think Payton started a year earlier, and I thought, wow, if anyone would think that Mike Tomlin has more wins with one less season under his belt than
You're
Sean
right.
Payton.
You were there today.
Yeah.
Well, I got to say this. Sean Payton, as we approach the halfway mark of the season, they played 7 games, he is definitely the coach of the year. To do what he did to the Bears without his starting quarterback, his starting running back, and without his starting tight end, that's unbelievable. Yeah. It is amazing, and it was totally one-sided. He is a great coach.
Yes, they're doing great things in New Orleans. I know you said the Packers, but my money right now is on the Saints. I think they are just tough tough. And,
that was preseason
doing
money
it
for
without
y'all,
Drew
wasn't it?
Brees is impressive.
That was
Go
your
ahead.
that was your Super Bowl pick, wasn't it?
Yes,
Bo?
mine.
Yeah.
Yours and Drew's. Everybody but me, I picked the Cowboys.
And Drew's got to love them Ravens. We were
He sure
talking
should.
prior to going on.
The only
Tell you
thing,
what, man.
the only thing I could say about the Cowboys is there's hope for my Bears, because if they could play such a stinker against the Jets and then turn around and beat the Philly the way they did, maybe there's hope. Maybe there's hope.
I want to give up hope on the Bears yet, but Nagy needs to get some offensive philosophy out of him. And I want to give up on Trubisky. I mean, Trubisky's played 32 games total. If you include the playoff game, that's 32 full games. That's two full seasons. He's been in the NFL 3, but 2. So there's a lot of work to do in Chicago. And Nagy, if he wants to retain that job title as head coach, he has to get Trubisky up to speed. I want to give up on Mitchell just yet. I feel bad for him and Kirk Cousins. Sometimes these guys, I think every other quarterback that has a lousy Sunday or Monday night, they pray that they can open up the newspaper and read something negative about Kirk Cousins and Mitchell Trubisky, because those are just the media darlings.
I'm not saying it about Trubisky. Give me Nagy. He's a genius. Yeah. The Bears haven't had a 300-yard game yet. Genius. Genius.
Here we go.
Give me a break.
Thank you, Bo.
Thank you, Bo.
Have a great week, guys.
You too.
Enjoy
man.
the baseball, too. We got baseball
Yes,
tonight.
sir. We will. Thank you, man.
We appreciate it. That is Bo Marchant, collegetopro.com. I mentioned earlier the Touchdown Club was at the Butcher Shop last night. You know they have a $25 deal on all kinds of different entrees. Every Sunday and Monday night you can watch football. Bar is really cool. We were in this little banquet room, and the Butcher Shop is really a neat place altogether. With Hamburger Friday and the Monday and Sunday night dinners they got for $25 with steaks. And I mean, that steak last night was unbelievable. Well, I got to give John David Bedour a lot of credit. He said they were going to have a special night at the Butcher Shop, and it was. All the Ole Miss people there seeing Matt Luke, and that food was unbelievable. Take advantage every Sunday and Monday night. Make sure you go to Hamburger Friday. And by the way, the Sunday brunch is very special, too. It's always special at the Butcher Shop in the Agri Center. We take a break, and when we come back, a guy who was at that meeting last night, that would be Steve Earhart from the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. He is next on Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
Take Sports 56 with you on your phone or tablet. Download our official Sports 56 app today.
Hey fellas, Bill Russell here at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, and I want you to think about something for just a second. When was the last time you totally surprised your wife or your girlfriend with something nice for no reason at all? Not a birthday, not an anniversary, for no reason other than to show her how much you care about her. For almost 35 years, I've been helping Memphis men show their ladies the deep appreciation that they have for them and how grateful they are to have those girls in their lives. Birthdays and other occasions, well, gifts are expected, but a lot of times the unexpected presents, given for no reason other than love, have the most impact and say the most to her. Those gifts say you care all the time, every day. At Russell Brothers Jewelers, we've been helping men say I love you for a long time. The size or the price of the gift most times is of little importance. It's the thought you put into it that will make her smile. Come see me, Bill Russell, at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers. Let me help you find just the right thing, large or small, that will let her know how you feel.
Mid-South Power Distributors is your source for all things diesel. For more than 26 years, they've supplied all the diesel parts that you need. From simple repairs to complete overhauls, they have it all. Whether it's heavy, medium, light duty, agricultural, marine, or off-road, Mid-South Power is the leading source for all things diesel. Fuel injection, turbochargers, engine parts, alternators, starters, and brakes, they can supply all the parts and services you need. Stop in today at 3250 Mill Branch Road in Memphis or call 901-396-0710.
First Bank is here to help you, whether you're a business looking for a loan to expand or refinance an existing one, a homeowner looking for a mortgage or home equity line, a consumer wanting to finance your dream car, or wanting a competitive rate on your CD deposits. Let First Bank try to handle your banking needs. Stop into one of First Bank's 3 local branches today, 6482 Poplar Avenue just east of International Paper, 8398 Highway 64 across from Wolf Chase, and 6280 Highway 64 in Oakland. Or check them out online at firstbankonline.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. Welcome back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Wolosian and Brad Norsworthy.
Welcome back in as we cruise through our final hour. This time we always talk to the Big Cheese, the head honcho of the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. And I don't know this. Which one of the guys on the ESPN Bowl projections actually picked, I think it was Oklahoma State.
Kansas State and San Diego State.
Against,
Kyle Bonagura.
Oh, it was Kansas State against San Diego State. Steve Earhart, I'm pretty confident that San Diego State's not coming. I hope you're not just absolutely crushed by that news.
Yeah, well, that's the problem with all these, quote, experts. They think that everybody's interested in who's going to play in the bowl. So we got all these knuckleheads out there thinking they're experts. But, yeah, if Dave, you'll be on a fast train out of Georgia if San Diego State's in our game here. But, no, that's craziness. And plus, the fact we had a great experience with Oklahoma State last year. But, I think we always try not to have repeats, at least,
get
1 year in between. So, yeah, I kind of laugh when I see some of these projections, but one of them had Liberty in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. So and I don't think that's going to happen either. So I enjoyed laughing at that. With
Liberty, I didn't see. So I did see projections with Hugh Freeze's team in, but not the Liberty Bowl. That would be
I think that was somebody just tried to be cute, So that's so to your listeners, listen to your show to get accurate.
That's right. The real experts.
Don't be listening watching all these other ones. But
hey, Steve, I love at the AutoZone Liberty Bowl corporate offices, and I would suggest for people, buy your tickets now, go by there and pick them up at the office and see all the different helmets. Do we have enough room to add new helmets? Because we got to continue that tradition. We can't take any out. We got to have all of them in there.
Well, when we built our display, and we have all 56, whatever the number of universities have been in the game, but we had, for example, you're one of your old favorite teams, Alabama, when you were there in the 80s. So since Alabama was here 4 different times and Ole Miss was here 4 different times, so we built enough space so that instead of hiding right now, we maybe have three Alabama helmets, so one of those helmets would have to come out, and then we put a new team in if we get a new team. Like last year, Oklahoma State had never been in our game.
Texas Tech could be that this year.
That's exactly right, and Texas Tech is a valid and legitimate. I know Harold Grader and Kevin Alexander are going to go up and do the doubleheader there with Kansas State and Kansas. They both play at home this week, and so they're only 100 miles apart there. One game is Oklahoma at Kansas at the 11 o'clock game Central, and then I believe it's Kansas State plays at the 6 o'clock game against Texas Tech. So, those are all candidates to be in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl from the Big 12.
Steve, I'm mesmerized by anybody's helmet collection. Anybody in their office, around the football complex, kind of the helmet from every year. I've got some good stuff at my house. You're not going to believe this, but my favorite helmet at the AutoZone Liberty Bowl corporate offices, my favorite helmet, Villanova.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I have a test for somebody that comes in and visits us, and certainly your listeners are welcome to come by. That's a good point to get your tickets for this year's game on December 31st. But if you can identify all the helmets in the trophy case, you get a prize. And for example, we always trip up people with the V there, the Villanova helmet, and then we sometimes have a little testing there for the game that it's not marked on the helmet. Some of them have their names right on the helmet,
like Boston College.
But yeah, that's exactly right. People think that's Florida State because the colors are similar, but that was the All-Catholic Bowl when Notre Dame played Doug Flutie and the Boston College Eagles. So
in the coldest bowl game ever.
Don't keep bringing that up again. I'm throwing you in the bus.
Yeah,
with,
we don't mention cold.
Doug
Come on,
Flutie.
Dave. That's a fine for mentioning cold.
I'm going to San Diego to heck with you guys.
Hey, Steve, Doug Flutie and Mike Golick Sr. were talking about it a couple Friday mornings ago on site in South Bend that they played against each other on the coldest night of their lives. They did mention the Liberty Bowl. Hey, I want to say Villanova was Bud Dudley's alma mater, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah.
No, he's a Notre Dame guy. He went to Notre Dame. He was one of the letters, but he ended up in Philadelphia. He was the athletic director at Villanova.
Oh, that's it.
That's
it.
what it was. So
I knew he loved Notre Dame, but I thought he had gone to Villanova, but he was an AD there, and he was a grad of Notre Dame?
Yes, he was one of the great athletes, and he was a multi-sport letterman at Notre Dame before he went off to fight in World War II.
What were the sports?
Missions.
Football and what else?
Anything he wanted to be.
I need to double check that and it was in that abbreviated time, and then he went and flew the many missions over Europe, and that was his inspiration for your listeners.
Patriotic to the core.
I get sentimental every time I hear about it, but he flew so many missions in the B-26s over Europe, and many of his fellow pilots and navigators did not come back, so he had always vowed that he wanted to start an institution, something to remember them and to carry on the theme of patriotism and liberty. So that was one reason why when he ended up back in Philadelphia as AD at Villanova, and so there were only 6 other bowl games at the time, so he started the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. It didn't carry AutoZone at the time, but the Liberty Bowl was born in Philadelphia before it ended up moving here to Memphis.
With a 1 year stop in Atlantic City,
1 year in AC in the AC with the under the dome. Steve, we've got the high school coaches announced last week. We're getting closer every day. We're seeing all these projections for teams. It's close to us. Time for you to give us the scoop on halftime entertainment.
You're right. We're our target date for announcement, and we'll see if we can get you guys either an interview with our honoree this year. But November. I think our target date for announcement is November 5th. So
we can go ahead and tell everybody now. The Rolling Stones with Mick Jagger. We can tell everybody.
Have you got under contract the talent yet?
We're getting close there, but Dave, I don't want you to go now.
You have not told me
here.
this. I've
come on, Dave.
I'm slipping because normally I would have been on him about this a long time ago.
I know.
Yeah.
Can you give us sort of the genre?
No hints for you.
No
David.
country, no rock, no jazz. I mean, give us something.
There's a great history, and that's part of the tradition of the bowl, going back to the days with Danny Thomas. And Danny always said that there's 2 ways to reach the American public, and that's through entertainment and through sports, because we all talk the same language. It cuts across ethnicity and financial situation. Everybody can talk about the AutoZone Liberty Bowl game, or everybody can talk about the our honoree. It's a distinguished contribution or outstanding contribution to the field of music and entertainment, which started out with Danny Thomas years ago, Elvis Presley, B.B. King, all these great entertainers. So every year we honor an individual or a group that's paid their dues, is well known nationally, so that ESPN will pick up some of their songs at halftime and show them to the nation and to the rest of the world, the telecast. So yeah, on November 5th, you'll learn who this year's 2019 honoree will be in the field of music.
We'll be ready. Steve, it's becoming more obvious every week. The SEC is not going to come close to filling their bowl obligations. Have you talked to Commissioner Sankey or anybody in the SEC office about it?
Yes, and we have ongoing dialogue, and they're still very hopeful that they'll get enough teams qualified. And of course, they think they're going to beat each other up. Doug, when Florida plays Georgia, and then who plays in the championship game, and then Alabama and LSU, and I saw one projection. Again, I called them knuckleheads already, but there is some projections that have the SEC getting 3 teams up into the what we call the New Year's Six, that the 6 games that there's 12 teams have to qualify to play in that, and a lot of them have penciled in Alabama, Georgia, and LSU. But then today I saw one that says, well, it really could be the Big Ten that gets 3 in because of Ohio State, Penn State, and Wisconsin, and we'll see whether that happens. But if there's
I don't know how Wisconsin, after last week with losing to Illinois, that
a 1-point loss, there's not going to be many teams that are undefeated by the end of the year, and every team seems to stumble. Look at what happened with Memphis there when they were up in Philadelphia. Now I still think they got tattooed by the phantom call there, but when you turn the ball over a few times, and I think Wisconsin did that in Illinois, and a team jumps up and plays inspirational football. So a 1-point loss on the road is not necessarily a killer, because some of these SEC teams are going to lose. I mean, obviously Georgia's already got their loss, and somebody's going to lose between LSU and Alabama, and so it'll be interesting to see. But my point there is that if they, depending whether they get 2 or 3 up into the New Year's Six, and then whether a team like a Mississippi State and Texas A&M and South Carolina and even Tennessee is still mathematically alive. The toughest part of their schedule is behind them now.
That's
and so, there's some openings. Ole Miss now, and you'll have to tell us stats. I mean, we were with Coach Luke last night, and he's still very positive and optimistic that they're getting better every week. And as they pointed out, the only team that they've lost by more than a touchdown is Alabama. So they've been in every game, and they're getting better. So, stats, do they have a chance to get 6?
Got a chance. We got to really pull the upset. Obviously, lost by 11 to Mizzou. They've lost by 5, 7, 8, and 11, and by 28. But the game was really, really, really tight with Mizzou and left a lot of points out there.
Let me point out one little scenario that we may have forgotten. And this was brought up last night at the butcher shop with a bunch of Ole Miss people who are being hopeful. But the Ole Miss APR is pretty good. And if there are not enough teams to go around, could Ole Miss sneak into a bowl game, including the Liberty Bowl, with only 5 W's? And have you talked to Commissioner Sankey at all about that?
Yeah, and that's happened a few years ago. Mississippi State got in with 5
and won.
And Old Miss has got a good ranking. And so for your listeners, what happens is there's not enough teams to fill the 78 slots, which is the 39 bowl teams. Then they will go to those teams that have 5 wins and 7 losses and say, who's got the best academic performance? So if schools like Vanderbilt or Stanford or Duke are at 5 wins, those are going to jump in there. But
I don't think Vandy's going to get there. Although,
I don't think they're going to get. But so if say Ole Miss is 5 and 7, and you don't have a Navy, looks like they're going to be better than that. But some of these schools that have super high APRs are not there, then Ole Miss stacks up pretty well. So yes, Ole Miss could slide in that way, but I'm still hoping for them to get their 6. So that's what I'm rooting for.
So you've got Harold and everybody is going to scout this doubleheader. Who do you think is the most likely candidate at this point to make it into the AutoZone Liberty Bowl from the Big 12 side?
Well, certainly with Texas maybe showing some vulnerability, that could change it around a little bit. And again, I feel badly for Kansas, played that wonderful game, and now we've talked about officials on your show. I've talked about the Big 12 with the guy running the clock down there in Austin, Texas, who's they didn't even start the clock after the referee put the ball in play there with 30 seconds to go, and magically the clock doesn't start until Texas snaps the ball. I think Texas figured out a way on 2 different plays to pick up about 12, 15 seconds there to win that game at the end. But my point there is, we used to always think, well, Texas or Oklahoma won't be in our game, and I think that's probably still the case. But the teams are so even between TCU, Oklahoma State, Kansas State, Baylor. They're getting into the tough part of their schedule now. And so I think that, Texas Tech, as we mentioned earlier, we've never had Texas Tech in our game, and they got that great young coach out there. And, they got kind of screwed there in that screwed up officiating deal when they lost to Baylor in overtime. But and then Kansas State, with a new coach up there, and Kansas State was here. Remember, 3 years ago, that's where we got to know Laird Veach, the new athletic director at University of Memphis, who was the associate AD at Kansas State. And Kansas State brings a great crowd with them as well. And so Iowa State there is playing very well. So there's a number of schools that we look for. We were hoping that Les Miles, if he'd have pulled out that clock operator,
that would have been great.
Didn't have those lead fingers there, or holding off on starting the clock there, they might have had the upset of the year, beating Texas at Texas, which is a hell of a stroke.
All right, last thing for Steve Earhart from the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, and that is if the SEC doesn't have enough to go around, and that's the most likely scenario, let's be honest. What do you do? Are you going with the American? That's your backup sort of conference? And who would you look at there besides Memphis? Because at this point, Memphis still has a good shot at the Cotton Bowl.
Right, and Boise State's, they lost that inside lock when BYU beat them. BYU's turned out to be a real spoiler, beating Tennessee and knocking them back, and then BYU beating Boise State. So remember, the Group of 5 automatic slot in the Cotton Bowl is the highest-ranked champion of the Group of 5 conferences, and Boise State had that, and right now, SMU is the highest-ranked. But you got to end up winning your championship, so you got to win that last game. So you got to beat the champion,
and you got to beat Memphis on November 2nd.
Right, and so Memphis has a great chance, and I know some of the prognosticators have said that Memphis could be the highest-ranked champion. So, yes, we have always wanted to support the American, going back to our days when we had the champion of Conference USA in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. So, yes, we would look if there's the SEC is not filling their situation. They still got that problem with Missouri being technically on probation. I can't understand why the NCAA can't find a time to make that ruling, but we would support the American Conference, and it worked out great for Memphis. All their players, families, and friends had a chance to see them. In the 60 years we had been trying to get Memphis in the game, finally got them in there. But there's some awfully good schools that I commend the American Athletic Conference, because they've got 4 or 5 teams that are as good as teams in these other leagues. So, I mean, you got Cincinnati with you got UCF is still sneaky good. They lost a couple games on the road there early, but they're going to be there at the end. And then, of course, Navy's the only loss they have is to Memphis, and you got SMU. So SMU and Memphis and Navy and Cincinnati and UCF, all some pretty good teams, and Temple's no slouches. The Tigers found out a week ago. So yeah, we would look hard at the American Athletic Conference as well.
He's Steve Earhart. He's the big cheese, the head honcho. Next week, he will tell us who is playing at the gala.
Thank you, Steve. We look forward to next week.
Now, don't tip ahead, Dave. You're going to have to earn your shoes. But Dave is still a legend. Stats when the OJs were there, he led the line dancing. So,
I know. One of the spectacular nights in the history of the ball.
They called me out. They loved me.
John Travolta on the dance floor. Dave Wolo.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Steve.
Appreciate it, Steve. Steve Earhart. This portion of the show brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch. That is the home of assurance. It's the home of technology. It's the home of service. When I talk about the technology, those Hyundais, they're so good. They last forever. 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty on every new car. When you're giving a 100,000-mile warranty away, that thing will last forever. And that's why they're the #1 certified pre-owned car dealership in Memphis the last 11 years, because the product is so good. And then there's the service that includes the shopper assurance. That's Chris True's brainchild. I want you to go and ask about that and tell them we sent you. You want to see the way car business should be done? Get on Lamar, go into Mississippi, exit first one, Craft Road, and you'll find the way car business should be done. That's the way they do it at Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch. Some breaking news from the NFL and Crunch Time. Still to come on the Tuesday edition of Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
The Peter Edmiston Experience with C.J. Hurt. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10. Only on Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
Did you learn your ABCs when you were a kid? Well, as a grown-up, it's time to learn your CBDs, as in CBD edibles, oil tincture, pain cream, and beauty products, all found at your CBD store. With 3 locations, Poplar Avenue, North Germantown Parkway, and Goodman Road East. You'll find all natural, organic, and non-GMO products. Need to learn more? Your CBD store has a knowledgeable and friendly staff that can answer questions, help with choices, and put you at ease about your CBDs. Your CBD store with 3 locations, Poplar Avenue, Cordova, and South Haven. Your CBD store, making it as easy for you as ABC CBD. Need physical therapy but don't know where to go? Tried physical therapy but had a bad experience? Grab your physician's referral and head to Revolution Physical Therapy at the corner of Goodman and Getwell. At Revolution PT, you'll get one-on-one, hands-on therapy. Better and more thorough than just going to the gym. Revolution is locally owned and staffed by neighbors who care about your maximum recovery. And they accept all major insurances. Certified in dry needling, expert in myofascial release. Always relaxed and friendly. Revolution Physical Therapy is just what you need.
If you're going on vacation, making a college campus visit, or if business takes you out of town, there's just no better place to board your dog than Barks and Recreation, 965 Reddick Cove between Bud Davis Cadillac and the Blue Plate Cafe in East Memphis. Boarding, daycare, grooming, we have the best of everything at Barks. Indoor-outdoor kennels so your family member can go in and out as they please. Indoor and outdoor play areas. 4 walks a day. Group play and individual attention from the best staff in the Mid-South, which includes an overnight staff to ensure the safety and comfort of your pet 24 hours a day. All reasons to choose Barks and Recreation above all other boarding and daycare facilities. BarksDaycare.com or 509-0909. Check us out and make your reservations now at BarksDaycare.com. If your dog could speak, he'd say Barks.
Welcome back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales.
Here once again
are Dave Wolosian and Brad Norsworthy.
Welcome back in. Wolo and Stats. Breaking news in the NFL. I don't get this one at all. The Detroit Lions have traded their starting safety, Quadre Diggs, and a 7th-round draft pick to Seattle for a 2020 5th-round pick. He's been the starter since
Seattle's they know they're going to the playoffs, and the Lions aren't.
Apparently, the Lions' teammates are stunned. He must
I would be, too. They're playing pretty well.
He must have done something, right?
NFL used to never have this.
Listen, he was a Pro Bowl alternate last year.
Yeah.
And now he's let go for a 5th-round draft pick? Something is not kosher in Detroit. It's crunch time.
This is for all the biggest crunch time. You are looking live. It's crunch time. In your life have you seen anything like that?
We'll take questions again for the student athletes at this time, please.
He's a professional. He's pretty classy for his age.
In the crunch time, that's the frustrating part.
Little Penny could make some appearances this year.
Okay, I'm not huge into stats.
Has it always been this way?
It's crunch time, so I got a different mind state.
What's happening, big dog? How you doing?
Is this thing working?
Immediately when the buzzer sounds, he lets out this shriek.
You throw those ears forward. He was in stroke mode.
It's obviously crunch time.
Time for Taco Bell Crunch Time. Taco Bell, home of the crispy tortilla chips, topped with a double portion of either seasoned beef or shredded chicken, plus refried beans, nacho cheese sauce, reduced fat sour cream, guacamole, and a 3-cheese blend. Nachos Bel Grande, heaping portion of chips, topped with ground beef, tomatoes, beans, nacho cheese sauce, and a dollop of sour cream. Taco Bell, home to great food you get on your way home real fast, and they bring you crunch time every day. I think I'm glad to hear the wheeling and dealing in the NFL. It really feels like
weird.
Trade deadline around the NBA in baseball, and that's not the NFL. Trade deadline for the NFL ends October 29th. Usually nothing in season in the NFL, but a lot this year. Full quit by Atlanta and soon to fire Dan Quinn. How do you ever survive being up 28-3 in a Super Bowl and letting that go. You ever come back from that?
Well, he's had a couple of years to.
Yeah.
And he hasn't been able to, so maybe not.
What are you glad to hear today?
I learned about coaches' salaries. Dabo Swinney makes $9.3 million a year, number one. Nick Saban makes $7.4 million. Jim Harbaugh makes a little over $7 million. Jimbo Fisher, $7.5 million. There are 4 in the top 10 of the SEC. The average salary for an SEC coach is just a tick under $5 million.
For the big guys, can you make the case? I know you can make the case, and you understand it's the market. That's just plain and simple what it is. But can you make the case that they've earned it, that they generate that kind of revenue and then some for the university?
I think it's a matter of dollars and cents. They have so much money coming in, they got to spend it. And the facilities and the coaches are the recipients.
The out-of-state tuition to make that place come alive. They've stolen Nick Saban in Alabama.
Nick Saban's a great deal. You want to
Dabo
can I
Clemson.
Can I give you another good deal? Ed Orgeron. Ed Orgeron is the number 30th highest paid coach. He's only making 4. He's a bargain.
I could have done without today watching that Sam Darnold performance last night. I didn't sleep well over it because I knew my friends would really ridicule me today, and they did. I'm not surprised by that whatsoever. The ridicule was coming. I knew it, and led by Drew and Dave really prompting him to do so.
I did not instigate at all.
He completed 11 passes, gave up the ball 5 times, 4 interceptions, and a fumble. So he gave up the ball 5 times and only completed 11. That's not a great ratio. 11 of 32, 86 yards.
The new Joe Willie.
That's a Zach Mettenberger, AAF Memphis Express type numbers. I don't know if you recover from that and become a star. You know who's having a good laugh right now in New York with what Daniel Jones and Sam Darnold are doing? Eli Manning. Do it for 16 years and then check back with me.
All right. You're pulling the plug on Sam Darnold way too soon. Here's what I could have done without today. Michael Jordan. My man, my hero.
Boy, it's the complete
love the dude.
Trifecta today, isn't he?
What is he doing? Why is MJ basically coming out and say Steph Curry not a Hall of Famer yet?
That's crazy.
10 NBA seasons, 2-time MVP, including one time he was the unanimous choice, 3 titles, 6 times an NBA All-Star. He's already the 3rd highest total 3-man in the league, and he's the number 1 accurate 3-point man in the league.
Is that Michael Jordan stay off my lawn? Is that kind of what?
Well, did you hear what Magic said? He only said that because he didn't want to get fined for tampering.
Oh, really?
That's what Magic said.
Of course, Magic got the tampering.
He did,
fine.
and then they changed the rule, so he wouldn't have gotten zapped for that.
I respectfully disagree with Michael Jordan.
Me too.
I'm looking forward tonight to the NBA season opener in Toronto. New Orleans minus Zion there. Clippers,
Are you going to
Lakers.
watch any of that seriously?
Oh, so yeah, some. Clippers, Lakers late. At Staples, I watch more of that because the World Series
You're not going to watch
over.
any of the Zionless Pelicans game.
I'm going to watch some of Mark's ring ceremony.
With Toronto.
Now, do you have Arbitron box hooked up at my house?
You're lucky. You're lucky I don't.
You have
because
the
I
Nielsen
can't.
box?
You'd be fibbing like Huck Finn.
I'm gonna watch a lot of the World Series. I also want to see this tonight, pre and post game. How much LeBron talks about the sticky issue.
He's not talking
with China World Series tonight, though. I'm gonna be watching this game. Love this matchup. I love the introduction of the players out to the line tonight. 7:08 first pitch. The rest of the way 7:07.
Yeah, because the intros for the first game are longer.
A minute, 1 minute.
That's it.
I need you to come to my house with a stopwatch and a Nielsen box.
I'm going to bring the Nielsen box for sure. I'm watching World Series. Can't wait. Really. I can't.
I'm looking forward
and what a matchup this first game is.
Oh, it's so much fun going to a World Series. I wonder if I'll ever go to another one. It's been so long.
Well, you can go to other teams besides the Cardinals.
I could.
You can go next year in Chicago with our new hotshot manager.
You don't believe that, do you?
Sure I do.
You don't believe that I would go, do you? That's what I was asking.
No, you know why?
Green flag.
Green flag. Exactly.
That's exactly it.
You're not coughing up that cash. We've got to thank so many people, including Gabe Kuhn, Brent Beard, Jeff Moore, Bo Marchant, and Steve Earhart. Don't forget tomorrow, always busy on Wednesday, we got a special guest, Bob Carpenter from the World Series. He'll come your way at 3:30. Bill Bender at 4. Brooks Monaghan, the great women's coach at the University of Memphis, his team in the top 25. We'll talk a little Memphis soccer, some of the men too. TJ Reeves at 5. We make our NBA picks at 5:30. It will be busy. Have a great night, whether you're watching the NBA tonight or you're watching the World Series. Enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. We'll see you right back here, same time, same place, tomorrow.
I'm here with Robert Cox, kitchen manager of the Rendezvous Restaurant. Tell us about those great ribs at the Rendezvous.
Rendezvous stands alone in a unique barbecue style, only found in Memphis, Tennessee. We don't smoke our ribs, we char broil them. The guys cooking our ribs have been doing it for 30 years. Mr. Charlie Virgos taught the guys the technique himself, and still to this day, they teach newcomers that come in the door. After our ribs come out the pit, we pre-cut every order, so you easily can tear them apart. We baste our ribs on a plate and sprinkle our seasoning all over them.
So Robert, are ribs what everyone comes to the Rendezvous for?
The beef brisket is now our second best seller behind the ribs. We also have lamb riblets, half chicken, pork shoulder, chopped chicken, cheese and sausage plate. Nachos are fantastic. We also carry a Greek salad. The list goes on.
Robert, where can we find out more about all of these great options?
Our restaurant menu is online at hogsfly.com, and recently we just added our catering menu online.
Mr. Charlie Virgos' Rendezvous Restaurant, a family-owned restaurant in downtown Memphis, in the alley since 1948.
The Vault on G.E. Patterson in South Main downtown has all your game day needs with 30 TVs. If your game is not on one of the 20 big screens, then sit in a booth with your own remote. The Vault has game day specials on pitchers, buckets of beer, and great food, which is the best thing about the Vault. This is not your normal sports bar. Chef Dirk Meitzler from On Tour and Cafe 621 has all his favorites like chicken Newport and his new lobster enchilada. Open for lunch and dinner every day with lunch specials for $12 weekdays with a drink. The Vault on G.E. Patterson in South Main, your downtown place to eat, drink, and watch the game.
I hired Nuptial Num-Nums to cater my wedding, and it was a disaster. Everyone was raving about the food instead of my dress.
No matter how hard you work for your small business, online reviewers will find something to complain about.
They're like, oh, Veronica, the lamb chops. Did the lamb chops fly you out to Cancun?
And while Progressive can't save you from these trolls, we can help you save money on commercial auto and business insurance.
I will not be hiring them for my next wedding.
Get a quote online today at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliated and third-party insurers.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
One thing I've learned over the years, no matter what you're buying, the smart thing to do is to buy from someone who sells quality products, delivers great personal service, and knows their business inside and out because they have over 2 decades of experience. When you're talking about insurance, it's more important than ever because you're counting on your agent to come up with a policy that's exactly what you need from a company you can absolutely depend on, be there when you need him, and save money all at the same time. When you deal with William Glass or any of their staff at the Glass Group, you're not only in good hands, you'll find out that you can put the money a lot of insurance companies spend on advertising on the World Series or college football or basketball in your pocket while you enjoy first-rate coverage on your home, auto, and business with things like rate lock on your car. So you're not canceled for a wreck or a speeding ticket. Guaranteed replacement on your home and contents, earthquake coverage, and outstanding rates for business on workman's comp, commercial auto, and any other business need you may have. Worried about mayhem? Call William Glass at the Glass Group, 843-1190. They'll handle it for you. 843-1190. When it comes to your pet, you want nothing but the best in boarding, daycare, and grooming, and we say thank you, Memphis, for voting Barks and Recreation #1 in Best Pet Grooming in this year's Memphis Most competition. We're also #1 in boarding with indoor-outdoor kennels so your family member can go in and out as they please, while they're being cared for by the best staff in Memphis, one that includes overnight staffing to ensure the safety and happiness of your pet 24 hours a day. And we're #1 in daycare with indoor and outdoor play areas, individual and group playtime, 4 walks a day, and small play groups to make sure that your pet gets the individual attention they deserve. Make your reservations now at barksdaycare.com or call us at 901-509-0909. Barks and Recreation, 965 Reddick Cove, between Bud Davis Cadillac and the Blue Plate Cafe in East Memphis.
Did you know that paying a traffic ticket is an admission of guilt? It is, and it could result in higher insurance rates and add points to your driving record, which could result in your license being suspended or even revoked. It's amazing how simple things can turn into major problems, and it's why no matter what legal problem you may have, you need to know exactly what your rights and your options are. You need an attorney who is only interested in one thing, fighting for you, and I've got one for you, Chelsea Rainey. You can call her for a free, convenient phone consultation at 901-647-4861. Traffic tickets, driving while impaired, drug charges, misdemeanors, divorce. If you live in the Metro Memphis area and you've been accused of a crime, you need to speak to attorney Chelsea Rainey about your options and your legal rights. Chelsea Rainey is dedicated to advocating and protecting your rights. Your initial consultation is free, and attorney Chelsea Rainey is always on call, always available at 647-4861. That's 647-4861.
There are 2 or 3 things in life that you simply can't live without if you live in the Mid-South. One of them is air conditioning. We take it for granted, never think about it, till it stops working, and then when you're miserable, you make the mistake of calling the big name company, and you pay way more than you should, or you call somebody who shouldn't be working on your lawnmower, much less something as important and complex as your HVAC system. When you need air conditioning or heating help, make the smart call to Dunn Heating and Air Conditioning at 494-9040. Brooke Dunn takes pride in his work. He'll treat you fairly, he knows his business, and he comes with the complete backing of the old Rain Man as he's about to become my son-in-law. And University of Memphis supporters will undoubtedly remember his grandfather, Coach Al Brown. Dunn Heating and Air Conditioning, 494-9040. That's 494-9040.
You finally found it, the vehicle of your dreams. You know it's got everything you want, you just don't know the price. Until now, shop one-price pre-owned vehicles today at AutoNation Ford Wolf Chase. Now, every pre-owned vehicle is clearly marked with our lowest price, guaranteed. That means no negotiations, no pressure, just one low price. And every certified AutoNation pre-owned vehicle is inspected in 125 different places, so there's no worries. Plus, your purchase is protected with a money-back guarantee for 5 days or 250 miles, whichever comes first. And as America's largest automotive retailer, you can shop one-price pre-owned vehicles from over 250 stores coast to coast. That's something you can count on. Shop over 20,000 one-price pre-owned vehicles at AutoNation.com or visit AutoNation Ford Wolf Chase. Drive pink, drive safe, drive now. AutoNation. Certain terms, conditions, and restrictions may apply. See store for complete details.
Southern Sports Report is being brought to you today in part by Gateway Tire and Service Centers, where there's always one thing you can count on. We go the distance for you. So before you hit the road for a trip across country or just across town, drop by any one of our 12 Memphis area locations. Whether it's tires or auto repair, you can always count on one thing. At Gateway Tire and Service Center, we go the distance for you.
Memphis Sports Radio welcomes you to the following presentation of Southern Sports Report.
The following program contains frank and honest commentary on sports. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome.